Hey, it's a lot.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Yep. Coming light. Hello. Come back on him.
That was incredible.
Dude, nobody better. Nobody. Hell yeah, guys.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the NASCAR Weekly Podcast, hosted this week by yours truly, Eric Giestedt, joined by Jarrett Lundberg, a.k.a. the Iceberg, in your gorgeous Minnesota Viking purple. Congratulations on the big win Monday night. It's good to know that one of the NWP NFL teams came out of week one victorious. But how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm all right. I mean, yeah, looking back at that win, it was a lot of fun. That's for sure.
We'll have our fun segment later on. Is that your way of teasing? Anytime the word fun comes on here, it's, I just think of the Christopher Bell soundbite now. It's synonymous with this show.
I can't overuse it.
Respect. That's a very good man. Good discipline there. As y'all will notice, we are without Daniel Baldwin. Danny B is not here. Danny B somewhere else, celebrating his 30th birthday. I texted him yesterday. He successfully got to 30 different states before his 30th birthday. I think he said he got to 31 technically because they went up to Colorado a couple days ago for that Titans Broncos game. So
that's right.
Overachieving Danny B overachieving, even though he is not on the show tonight. But we appreciate you all tuning in. Before we get into things, we've got, of course, Gateway. We've got a lot of NASCAR news, rumors, reckless speculation, the abbreviated fun segments later on. We'll talk about the Bristol night race, but I'll start off just by kind of acknowledging that it's impossible to go onto the internet right now without seeing the tragic news from literally just a couple hours ago. The tragic death of Charlie Kirk was shot and killed literally, I think, about 2 hours ago before we were recording this. So still very raw. I understand that there are a lot of viewers and listeners out there who might be feeling sad, might be feeling angry tonight. We are not a political show. We don't enter that arena, but we even debated if we should do the stream tonight or if we should try to adjust our schedule. But ultimately we decided that our goal every week is to try and entertain you guys. And so hopefully this week for the next couple of hours, Jarrett and I can be that escape and hopefully be somewhat of a positive force in a world that sadly seems to be overrun by so much negativity and awfulness every single day, every single week, sadly. So I wanted to start the show with that before we get into NASCAR racing talk. I know folks will be trickling in throughout the evening, but I still wanted to kick off the show by at least acknowledging that many people will be feeling strong feelings the rest of the day, this week, and going forward. But yeah, do we want to get into Gateway, Jarrett?
Well, and I'll say too, I mean, it's not, I don't think it's political to remember someone's memory, and with everything going on, just, it's been rough to see everything that's been going on. You go online, and between this and what's happened in Colorado and North Carolina and Minnesota, and tomorrow we'll be remembering the victims of 9/11. It's not a huge positive time. So any bit of positive and positivity and positive just in general thoughts and time we can give to you guys, that's the goal. Just hug your loved ones, have good discussions and talks and everything with everybody else and that's in your life, and enjoy the little things and have fun like we're going to tonight. It's hard to, but at the same time, there's so much good in the world too to talk about, focus on, and all, and we hope that we can be 2.5 hours of that for you guys tonight. So I think we can go into Gateway.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's tough doing a live show when there are real world events happening in real time, but we will do our best. We appreciate you all tuning in tonight and spending your Wednesday evening with us. It's a short week with the Bristol night race, just three nights away. In fact, tomorrow night, the truck race with ARCA as well. But we will start going back a few days to St. Louis, Gateway Worldwide Technology Raceway. Denny Hamlin gets his 59th career win. It's his 5th victory this season. He locks himself into the round of 12. Jarrett, how impressive was Denny Hamlin, but not just Denny, really all of Team Toyota. Another 1-2 finish with Chase Briscoe in close pursuit.
I feel like this was a statement personally that we've been talking all week, much of the year. Like we've been talking a lot about these flat, short ovals, the New Hampshires, the Gateways, the Phoenixes, and all it's been about is Team Penske, and rightfully so. Team Penske has been lights out in these tracks, especially Gateway. I think that might be the track they're as strong at as they are as Phoenix, and Toyota, Gibbs especially, but Toyota in general, they were absolutely lights out in every way. And the fact that Denny went out there battling for the win, Briscoe is realizing his potential. Bell was practically screaming over the radio. Well, he was screaming over the radio about a 7th place finish. I think it speaks volumes to just how good that team is right now. Hell, Ty Gibbs is up in the top 10 in this race, man. So it was about as perfect of a day for Toyota. Bubba Wallace leading a ton of laps, could have won this race. I mean, just about every Toyota out there, outside of maybe the 35, was good.
Yeah, I mean, this is the second straight week where we've seen Joe get. We're 10 minutes into the show and we're already getting bombarded by Danny B here. Danny, what is going on? What is happening? This wasn't in the itinerary.
I hope there's not a lot of background noise or anything, but I'm at the Phoenix airport in just a little corner. So I might mute my microphone in case I'm needed.
Okay. Calling in live from Sky Harbor. There's Danny B. To your point, Jarrett. Where were we? Yes, Toyota. I mean, they've made a statement 2 weeks in a row, but I do agree with your assessment that Gateway was a more resounding statement because this was the race we all circled and said, hey, if Team Penske is for real this postseason, like they've been the past couple postseasons, they will run well, potentially win this race. And let's see, Denny Hamlin led 75 laps, Chase Briscoe 15, Bubba Wallace led 73. Team Penske led a combined 7 laps in this race. Austin Cindric, the defending winner, was frankly a no-show. Blame track position, blame what you will, was not a factor in this one. And Blaney and Logano, credit to Blaney, he's been their best. That's been their best team all year. They recovered nicely from that Larson incident, but still 4th for Blaney, 5th for Logano. Good results, but we don't expect good from Penske at Gateway. We expected them to be where Briscoe and Hamlin were, and they weren't. So I think this is 2 weeks in a row that Gibbs has gotten Toyota has gotten not only Gibbs, but 2311 and Legacy into the top 5, top 10. They've figured something out just in time for the start of these playoffs. Danny, I know you're in the airport. There was a little bit of background noise, but I mean, what was your reaction to Toyota, Denny Hamlin getting the win on Sunday?
My biggest reaction is that I think this is setting up Denny Hamlin to kind of continue what we saw in the regular season, and he's getting into championship form, but at least championship 4 form. We'll see what happens in here in Phoenix. It's a whole other story once he gets there with everything on the table for him. But I think that all of us had him in our championship 4, and this just kind of helps further cement him on that strategy, or on the trajectory, not strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say, I don't know if you can see the chat, Danny, but you're getting a lot of happy birthday wishes from the chat. Also, someone said, can we get some shots of the planes, Danny? Can we get some Danny B planes content during the live stream?
Sure.
That's okay.
Can I change my camera? Hold on.
Oh my goodness.
Back camera. Okay, let's go.
Oh yeah.
Let's go on a tour.
I don't know what happened, but we just disappeared.
Where did we go?
Now we're back.
There we go.
There's some.
How do I this thing? We have so many layouts now. I don't know which one I can do to like actually show all of us. So like,
trying to mess around. There we go. Well,
there we go. We'll go back to the other one, wherever it is.
Good stuff, Danny. Have a safe travels out there. That's good. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, so Denny Hamlin gets the win. Chase Briscoe second. That's Chase Briscoe starting the playoffs off strong with a 1st and a 2nd place finish. Wanted to give a shout out as well to Chase Elliott, who finished 3rd. Hendrick has at times struggled at Gateway in the past, but we saw, I think Larson had a really fast car, but the incident with Blaney, which we'll talk about, he also had an issue on the restart, got damaged, had to make an extra pit stop. So he finished 12th, Byron 11th, kind of a non-factor. Alex Bowman, once again, pit road, kind of a nightmare for the 48 bunch, but
He's cooked, chat.
but I want to acknowledge the Larson Blaney deal, because I can't tell if NASCAR fans are making too little out of this or if they're making too much of this incident. Like, I feel like I'm bordering on making too much of this, but then I go on the internet and see people saying, why is nobody criticizing Larson? Why does Larson always get a pass? So I can't tell what the temperature in the room is. Jarrett, your take on Larson just misjudging the middle of the corner and spinning his fellow championship contender.
I mean, I don't think it was on purpose. I just think it was a really bad move. You could see him sliding up the track, like when they showed the overhead view. But I kind of am in that bin of like, why, I don't think we need to like get super, super pissed at him, but like, why doesn't Kyle Larson really get the criticism for making these kind of moves? Like, because he does it a lot. I mean, I know Chase Elliott fans remember him doing this before. And, if this was Ross Chastain or Carson Hocevar, we're having a huge debate on like, this one, the one that's too far, a bridge too far. Like, but it's Kyle Larson, who is a great driver, but he makes so many of these dumb mistakes. And I believe this is the second time in a playoff race that Kyle Larson has run into Ryan Blaney, like, and ruined his race in some way or another, or at least heavily damaged his race. So yeah, I think it's valid to have a bit more criticism on Larson at this point, because he's been doing this so many times.
In one of my videos the other day, I played side by side the Carson Hocevar spinning Corey Heim at Phoenix on board next to the Larson spinning, and they looked identical. And remember, we all, I think, rightfully dragged Carson Hocevar for what was just, you can't make that misjudgment in such an important point in the season. But Larson, I feel, has gotten off somewhat scot-free. There seems to be this code within the NASCAR garage that if someone spins you or does something on accident and it's just a mistake and they took you out, you're not allowed to be angry or get revenge. And I'm not saying Blaney needs to go, wreck Larson the first chance he gets, but Ryan Blaney gets used up a lot. We've talked about this on the show. Chris Buescher, cleanest racer in the field, maybe, over aggressive at Sonoma, wrecked Ryan Blaney. Carson Hocevar at Atlanta, what the hell was he doing shoving him into turn one? Spins Ryan Blaney. Guys take advantage of Ryan Blaney because they know he is all bark over the radio and he is no bite. I feel like at some point Blaney's going to have to stand his ground. I don't care if Larson made a mistake. It was an accident. It was a blatant mistake that a good driver should not make, in my opinion. If Blaney wants to dump Larson at New Hampshire in a couple weeks, I think he has the green light. And maybe I'm wrong for saying that. Maybe drivers would say, oh, that's not how the code works. I think the code should be rewritten. I think we gotta hold these championship drivers to a slightly higher standard. That's my takeaway.
Well, and the thing is, it's over and over and over again that Larson makes these same mistakes, and it's kind of like a converging of those two stories. Larson makes these same mistakes, and on the other end, Blaney comes out on the raw end of these deals. And it's funny hearing you say that, because there's somebody that Ryan Blaney can probably walk right down the hall to at Penske who went through the exact same thing early in his career. And I get it's not as early in Blaney's, but Joey Logano was a doormat for about a year or two early in his career. And finally he stood his ground. And yeah, he ended up paying the price for going overboard at times, the Matt Kenseth deal and others. But you also have a lot of people, I guarantee you go through the garage like, hey, who's a driver on the racetrack I should not F with at all? And I guarantee you Joey Logano's name would come up with a ton of those younger drivers, especially.
No, absolutely. Now, why I think there's a chance Blaney doesn't do anything is because he came back to finish fourth. Yeah, the incident cost him a few stage points, but he still finished top five. So, at the end of the day, I guess wasn't as much damage done as could have been done, I suppose. So I want to ask you guys simply, we've talked now a little bit about the three main manufacturers, the three, main championship contending teams. Danny, I'll start with you on this. Do you think Joe Gibbs Racing, Hendrick Motorsports, or Team Penske are the championship favorites at this point?
I still maintain. I think my original prediction was 2 JGR cars and 2 Penske cars. I'm kind of
Okay.
sticking with that. I don't see any Chevrolet being in the championship four this year.
I mean, it's hard to disagree with what we've seen so far. I mean, Toyota's jumped out, and Penske always has their late season surprise. Jarrett, I can't remember what your championship four looked like, but are you willing to make any modifications at this point?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'll say like championship favorites, it's Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean, the team, the three guys they have in right now are competing just about every week. If they're not competing, again, they're pissed off at a 7th place finish or whatever it was. They have won the opening 2 races, won here. They've already been strong at Phoenix. I don't see why they wouldn't be the favorites. I think Penske's been a little bit off. Now, Joey Logano can have devil magic or whatever it is that helps him out at times. Paul Wolfe, you could argue, is that magic. And Ryan Blaney, I think, has had the speed to keep up. But right now, based on how they've run this year, I think Joe Gibbs Racing should be the ones to beat. Are they going to win it? I don't know, but that's the point of ones to beat.
Yeah, that's the way I see it right now. Is I think so. I had both Bell and Hamlin getting to Phoenix. I might amend the Bell pick with Briscoe. Maybe that's prisoner of the moment, but I still think
Briscoe's my pick.
2 Toyotas I think will make it in. I'll even throw Bubba Wallace. I know he's not Joe Gibbs Racing directly, but I'll throw Bubba Wallace. He's been really solid to start the playoffs. Couple of top 10s, stage win. If he doesn't spin the tires on that one restart, maybe he's a factor at the end there with Hamlin and Briscoe. I don't know how track position would have shaken out. But I had Blaney winning the championship ultimately because he has been the one exception at Penske that's fast everywhere. But I will agree right now at the short, flat ovals like Phoenix, you got to say Gibbs.
No.
Christopher Bell won in spring Phoenix. He won North Wilkesboro. They just obviously won Gateway. What were you going to say, Danny?
All I was going to say is that, I think Penske and Gibbs seem like my personal favorites to win the championship in the end. But that's not to say that during this playoff run, we aren't going to see some Chevrolets show some strength. Like I really think Bristol this weekend is going to be won by a Chevrolet personally. And then also I think that SVG probably getting eliminated this round, but he will probably be a contender to win the Roval later on.
Yeah, Chevy will have its moments. They're too good not to have their moments. Real quick, Jarrett. Sorry, I didn't want to change the subject. You had something to add.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say, I will say, and I know we touched on it. I want to touch on it one more time. Hendrick Motorsports showing actually good speed, though. I think at Gateway does also send a bit of a message. Sounded like Mr. H called everybody in after Darlington and is like, we're getting this figured out one way or another, and it's happening this week. I don't think it's going to save maybe the 48, but the 5, 24, and 9, like that might get a fire under their ass for the end of the year. So I'd watch them.
The only thing I can say objectively as a fan of 48, I think he's going to go out this round, but did have the pole at Bristol earlier in the spring, so they have somewhat of an idea of speed there, but the car didn't last in the end. So whatever notes that they have, whatever they can do to Larson's car in the past, if they want all 4 to continue, they better put it into the 48. That's all I can say.
Give him this best shot. Real quick, what I was going to ask.
And I'm not even going to be there now, so watch. I don't go after all, and then it'll happen.
Real quick, Jarrett, did you think Christopher Bell blowing up on the radio at Adam Stevens, was that fair, or was that not good optics, not good for team morale?
I mean, I think it was fair. Bell a lot of the times does end up kind of on the raw end of strategy deals at different points in comparison to his teammates. And he's generally been pretty quiet. He doesn't do this all the time. If he was doing this like Blaney, and here we go with Blaney again. If he was doing this Blaney, where Blaney is blowing up every other week, every other restart, then okay, yeah, like, dude, calm down. All right, you finished 7th, you're plus 32, you're fine. But Bell doesn't usually do it as much. And he usually doesn't wear his emotions on his sleeve, I would say, as much as a lot of other people do. So I think it will get a message across. Whereas if it's someone that always is blowing up, then I would say to calm down. So I think he's fine. For sure. I think also that was tension sort of being released
he's watched Briscoe and Hamlin win back-to-back races. Since Bell's last win, his teammates have, I think, a combined 7 points-paying wins in that span. So he feels maybe that he's been left behind. Is that strictly strategy? That might be what he was calling out there. We already mentioned some other good runs, some good notable finishers. Want to mention also Chris Buescher, a top 10. I think he'll be a threat at Bristol this weekend, even though he's not in the playoffs. And with that, we got to talk Trackhouse. Before we look at the points, let's talk Trackhouse real quick. Ross Chastain and Shane Van Gisbergen, who finished 24th and 25th, were non-factors in the race. We're seen via the onboard cameras driving through the grass, driving through the dirt on the cool down lap, presumably to try and pick up some debris, maybe add a tiny bit of weight, maybe do something to the underneath of the car that's damage the splitter, something to help them better pass post-race inspection. NASCAR said they've talked to the team. They reminded all the teams this week that there's a rule that says you can't alter the car on the cool down lap. It's a very vague rule as usual. Reaction, Jarrett, to that? Do you think there should be or will be penalties for this sort of stuff going forward?
Did they take the cars to the R&D center?
Not that I know of.
Okay, that's a slap on the wrist. Like, hey, don't do it again. Like, come on.
You had your chance. If you didn't do anything, you didn't do anything.
Like, we all know the random draw isn't really all that random, especially when it's like you see like every convenient car that has been sort of on the edge or somebody is sort of questioning gets taken to the R&D center. Take them to the R&D center, see what it is they're doing. If you're really that serious about it, I think they just didn't want, I think they were probably just focused on getting to the next race, short week, probably not wanting to get a bunch of controversy built up and everything else or something like that. I don't know what it was in the background, but I feel like if they were really serious about it, they would be all out,
Yeah. I don't feel like this is something that even needs to be really officiated, honestly. Like, I think, if they want to make a rule, don't run it into the wall. Don't intentionally like damage your car. Don't, if they just want to say, don't drive in the grass, keep it all 4 wheels on the asphalt. Okay, that's fine. But guys for years have been driving through marbles to try and pick up a little extra weight, little extra debris, whatever. So I don't know. The rule again is very vague. So it's like, what can they really penalize? I'm not sure. I think we lagged for a moment, but I believe we're back. Chat, let us know if
I
we're
didn't
back.
see anything from my end, so I don't know what's going on.
Claudia
YouTube gave me
Claudia showed me a chat that said that Eric was never beating the McDonald's Wi-Fi allegations.
Man, it's not even my Wi-Fi. I don't think it's not the Wi-Fi, but I think we're back. Yeah, I think they're back. Well, on that note, let's take a look at the playoff grid with one race to go. Bristol is an elimination race. You can see the points on the screen right now. Chase Elliott plus 28, Joey Logano's plus 21, Chastain plus 19, Cindric plus 11, and the 4 guys below the cut line are Austin Dillon, Shane Van Gisbergen is 15 out, Alex Bowman minus 35, and Josh Berry minus 45. Now, not pictured here because it was going to be difficult to squeeze everyone onto this graphic. Christopher Bell, I believe, is plus 31, plus 32. Yeah, there are other drivers that are still in the danger zone, potentially knowing that trouble lurks around every corner at Bristol Motor Speedway. But this is the main 8 here. Anyone jump out to you? Do you see any movement at this point?
Without something crazy happening, I honestly think these bottom 4 are the bottom 4. Because I don't trust Austin Dillon even over Austin Cindric. I don't trust SVG. And I would trust Alex Bowman, but he's just too far back, in my opinion, to make it up on points without a bunch of people having problems.
Yeah, the only way I see this changing is if Alex gets whatever Larson's had the last 2 races. That's the only way I see this changing.
So I'll give Alex Bowman this. He has won back-to-back poles at Bristol. I think he's was running, I think, top 5 in the spring race when his engine blew or he had a mechanical issue and went to the garage. Now, the thing that works against Bowman is he has 1 win in the last 3.5 years, and it was a darkness shortened road course race. So I think if you need to go out and win, Alex Bowman's probably not the guy, but this is a good track for him, and he doesn't have to win. 35 points, yes, that's a big deficit, especially because he's also 2 or 3 names below the line. But if he runs top 5, earns stage points, and just one of Austin Dillon, who you never know, or I'm sorry, Austin Cindric, who has never finished inside the top 10 at Bristol, or shoot, even Joey Logano. Have y'all seen Joey Logano's Bristol numbers the last few years? They are terrible. Like he wrecked in this race 2 years ago, got caught up on a wreck, I should say. It wasn't really his fault. Was running bad, got swept up in a wreck and got eliminated. Remember, Logano made history as the first and so far still the only defending champion to get bounced in the round of 16. It was this race. So yeah, I think if Alex Bowman at least runs top 5 all night and gets stage points, he's in the battle, but it's a long shot. He does have a different pit crew. I can't remember if we noticed that later. I know the chat was talking about it. He has a slightly different pit crew now. Several members of his team have been swapped out with Carson Hocevar's Spire team. So after 2 awful pit road blunders 2 weeks in a row, at least Bowman now, they're not taking that lying down. They are trying something here to try and rejuvenate that bunch ahead of an important cutoff race. Other than that, though, I'm with you, Jared. I think Cindric versus Dillon could be interesting, again, because Cindric doesn't have great Bristol numbers in his Cup career, but even that 11 points, it doesn't look like a huge gap, but
it's kind of the battle of mid.
Yeah, well, both guys are probably going to run 17th, and so it's like how many, you're not going to fluctuate a whole lot from there. That's my guess.
Well, and the other part too is with the new tire, like everyone keeps saying, oh, it's gonna wear, it broke the machine, all those other things, and it's like I don't want to fall for this again, just because like the last few times we've been like, oh my god, it's gonna be different, and then it's just the same thing. So I feel like qualifying is going to be so important this week that maybe Austin Dillon runs 6th all night, gets the stage points and a good finish, and Austin Cindric is stuck in 17th the whole night. Like that might be how it goes too.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I think what the tire impact truly is. If there is wear, the weather, I think it looks like it might dip into the high 60s into the evening, but it's not going to be as cold as that spring race a couple of years ago, where with the crazy tire wear. So we know how temperamental this track, these tires, that combo can be. It's so hard to predict. But we can move on to our next topic, which is the TV ratings, which aren't great. Second week in a row. Cup race scored 1.525 million viewers on USA Network. That's down 15% from the comparable weekend a year ago, which was Watkins Glen. If we compare it to, I think, last year's Gateway race, which was in June, I believe, it's down like almost a full million viewers. I believe it was around 2.4 million for that race last year on a different network, different season. The Xfinity Series back in business, though. 980,000 viewers tuned in to watch the Xfinity race on the CW. Still under 1 million for the second week in a row. College football competition will do that, I suppose. But in the ballpark, still really strong ratings for the Xfinity Series, which of course is on broadcast television. Definitely been a huge win for that series throughout the year.
It's just rough, man. I mean, I think we kind of knew after how bad the Southern 500 was, it was going to be rough. But at this point, I mean, it's just, this is like nightmare scenario NASCAR, probably thinking viewership wise. I mean, the Xfinity Series is what, like not even 600,000 away from a Cup race now. Like that's just,
I mean,
there's no way to sugarcoat it.
I know it was week 1 NFL, but it's still pretty sad to see these numbers like this.
What's the thing is we have the NFL every year. Everyone's like saying it's the NFL is the problem, but it's like we go against the NFL the same weekend every year and it still goes down. And I get the NFL had a big weekend and probably drew some people away, but I mean, guys, 1.5 million viewers when we started this show was like a bad rain delay rating. Like that, it's just
true.
There's no, it's bad, it's terrible, and you can't bury your head in the sand on it.
I was talking to Jarrett a little bit before the show earlier. I'm legitimately scared for Bristol's ratings this weekend. I mean, I know the Tennessee Georgia game happens before Bristol technically. I mean, it could be it could still be going on by the time that race is starting. I don't know. And then there's still going to be, I think, a Vandy, South Carolina. It's got some intrigue, and then LSU, Florida, going on during it. Like, Man, I'm not
Well,
like as much as Saturday night races have been down in general, plus the trend is just going down. I mean, I'm really I don't want to say I'm scared because see it go under 1 million. I
well,
don't
and
know.
there's also the Notre Dame A&M game, which
Yeah,
is
that one
big,
too. So
and that's gonna
you got
that's on
three
NBC.
yeah, three big games that'll take the attention of most of the Southeast, which is majority of your NASCAR audience.
Well, and let's be honest too, like the diehards, we know what Bristol is right now. Like Bristol really hasn't been the greatest track for any of the top 3 series, honestly, probably in about 4 or 5
And
years.
we
Why
don't
would you
have
want to waste 2.5 hours of your night on that when you can watch football or you can go out with friends or you can do anything else but watch what? And I hate saying this because I love Bristol and being there was amazing, but the Bristol night race, you can argue it is one of the, if not the worst races of the year now. Like just
and
everything racing wise, timing wise about it. Like I don't think the crowd's going to be as good this year based on the Ticketmaster site.
yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah, you can't track how many people will officially be in attendance at the race, unfortunately, because that information will stay private as far as how many actually come through the turnstiles and go through the infield pass areas and all that stuff. So all they can really do is go off the numbers of how many passes were put out, how many tickets were truly sold by Bristol Motor Speedway. So there's no way to really know that. But Eric, I'll be curious when you're there to see some pictures from you because I mean I know I know what will be the most popular sporting event in the state of Tennessee next Saturday, and it's not the Bristol Night Race.
Yeah. Well, as far as the ratings, I think, I saw people say, NASCAR got, they opted for the money over exposure, the opposite of what IndyCar did, for example. I just think we all assumed, oh, the viewership hits will come when they switch to streaming in the beginning of the summer for 5 races, or when they reintroduce TNT, which fans aren't used to tuning into. That's when the viewership will suffer. I don't think anyone expected the season lows to be USA Network, which for the last several years has become a seasonal staple, I suppose. I think some of it obviously is cable subscriptions go down every year. Some of it is, these specific races, these tracks are not, like you said, even Bristol coming up may not be exciting to the casual or even the hardcore fan. There's some car fatigue. There's potentially playoff format fatigue. But I just find it interesting that the viewership has dipped so much on USA Network when it didn't dip as far as we thought it would on Prime, for example.
Looking at the numbers too, none of the USA Network races this year have even hit what the average USA Network race was last year.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it's next gen fatigue. I do think it's playoff fatigue just in general. And I think, you know what? So many of these people have been hearing the complaints, and there's been so many more this year, and said, well, if you don't like it, don't watch. Well, they listened. And I between how bad this TV deal really is, at least for the second half of the season, between the fact that we'll talk about some change, but there's probably not going to be some meaningful change. With the playoff side of it, that's probably going to make everyone happy, all that. Like I'm kind of starting to get to a point where a lot of other people are, and I'm kind of wanting, no matter what happens with this lawsuit, like I just kind of want the France family to sell the sport already. Like, we were talking about that 2-3 years ago. Like, I want them to do that at this point. That's the only way I see real change.
The defense of the TV deal is they did get an unbelievable amount of money that funds everything, funds the sanctioning body, funds the tracks, funds the teams. Like I can't believe they're getting over $1 billion this year alone, and for the next 6 years from Fox, NBC Prime, and so on and so on. So NASCAR, in their defense here, we have to be honest, was in a tough spot. Do you take, more network races perhaps? Do you put it like more races on one net? Or do you divvy it up so that the teams who were screaming for years, we need larger purse money, we need bigger payouts, so that the teams and everyone can get what they've been asking for? I just think it's the unfortunate reality as a sport. It got so big in its prime years when the money was flowing, and now the money's not flowing as easily. But the sport's still so big, and obviously they've compressed and contracted in some ways, cut certain things. There are a lot of cuts, no doubt, but it still is not as lean perhaps as it needs to be, considering how popular it is. So in order to continue to fund this oversized, bloated circus every single week. They needed to chase the biggest money. So I can't necessarily say they made the wrong call with the TV deal. They did. We knew it was going to hurt viewership this year. That part's not surprising. I'm a little surprised it's hurting USA viewership that badly, but viewership being down is not a shock. It's just they did successfully get a $7 billion deal that I didn't expect them to get, for sure. I mean, they got like what, a 50% annual increase. How? It's because they divvied it up, because they played the game.
I think it's live sports inflation right now. Live sports is
For that too.
premium for networks, and they'll pay as much possible for those live sports. The problem is, and a lot of people have been pointing this out with, like, you know, MLB, NBA, even IndyCar, F1, you know, wherever this goes, is that this is a bubble and it's going to pop. And so what NASCAR pretty much did, and I think what IndyCar did, and granted they sold part of it to Fox Sports, is IndyCar took their medicine. I think they took their medicine. We need growth. We need eyes. We need to build it up to try and get a big deal, where I think NASCAR kicked the can down the road an extra 7 years, and eventually they're going to have to come home to roost and take their medicine on this too. And I just, where are we going to be at that point? Because if it's this bad right now, and Formula One, I know they're doing Apple, and they might probably never publish those viewership numbers at some point, but we're dangerously close to having a couple weekends a year now where Formula One is more viewed than NASCAR, where maybe down the road, IndyCar is going to be battling more for NASCAR. NASCAR chose the money over their stranglehold of American motorsports viewership. And I think that's going to be the wrong choice come the end of this deal. It might be the right one to start with, but sounds from the lawsuit, they front loaded the money to the teams on it. So it's not going to make that much of a difference in a few years, right?
It could be. No, that's very possible. My thing also with this has been my concern with NASCAR for quite some time now, because there aren't superstars. The on-track product is not the best it's ever been. We're finally getting a console video game that will hopefully be of decent quality. Like, my concern has always been, they did the Clash at the Coliseum. They did the Chicago Street Race. They introduced a brand new sports car, essentially. They've done all these big new things, but we've seen no Le Mans, Garage 56, but we've seen no lasting long-term impact, because once those new eyeballs come to the sport, watch that first thing, and then go to watch the second thing, I don't think they're super impressed with what they see. There aren't enough big personalities. Everyone's a white guy from North Carolina. There's not a lot to sink your teeth into. I think that's where, YouTube content like what we produce, that's some of the very little subsidiary content that's out there, but with no quality video game, with no mainstream relevance or eye-catching characters on the racetrack or off the racetrack. It's just, if you're a new person who knows nothing about NASCAR, what is there to sink your teeth into right now?
Look at the racing
week to week.
I mean, the racing right now is arguably the worst it's ever been.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just, I mean, the personalities we do have, the suits try and stifle them. Like, look at Hendrick Motorsports. I do not think all 4 Hendrick Motorsports drivers are cardboard cutouts, but Jeff Gordon went out on a press conference and said, yeah, we try and tap that stuff down. Why? Because every time I see something, when Chase Elliott goes outside of his normal Chase Elliotisms, I love it. It's awesome. William Byron can be really fun when you give him the runway to be. Alex Bowman, great. And Kyle Larson
this week.
Yeah, and Kyle Larson too. Like, he's a smartass. I want to hear more of that. Like, and the ones that we do have personality from, everyone bitches about. Look at Ross Chastain, Carson Hocevar. We're always everyone, not us, we're not, but I would say a lot of people are always complaining about them. And so you basically have a bunch of cardboard cutouts, like you were saying. You have bad racing. It's just, and a bad deal. Because I'm sorry, nobody under the age of 50 is like, man, I'm going to USA Network. I get to watch NASCAR after SVU.
Yeah. No, that's true. I'm just saying that maybe there was a reason to kick the can down the line a few years. That's probably short-sighted, but yeah, and I'm not saying there's no personality. I'm saying if you're a hardcore fan like most of us here are, and you know where to look and you follow these guys, then there are a ton of. It's not just a bunch of white guys from North Carolina. We know that, but I'm saying if you're an average person who's tuning into NASCAR for the first time, you aren't going to see those nuances right away. They are not immediately noticeable. The stuff that is noticeable right now, I don't think is as impressive as it could be. So I just think the whole sport right now just needs kind of a, I'm not going to say a reset. That's not the right word. Just needs a refresh, perhaps, I suppose. And maybe we'll get that next year with a slightly different playoff format. We'll see. We need to move on, though. We spent a lot of time on that. The poll, the famous iceberg poll, Jarrett asks his viewers, our viewers, every week what they thought of the most recent Cup Series race. And we had 11,000 votes this week. 10% voted great, said that this was a great race at Gateway. 59% said it was a good race. 25% said it was an average race. And 6% said it was a bad race. I'm actually surprised. That's a 69% net positivity. That's a much nicer score than I was expecting this race to get. I thought it was an okay race, but not the most, I thought it had segments that dragged quite a bit. What were some of the comments, Jarrett?
Well, that is still fourth of the Gateway races, which shows I think Gateway is actually more positive by the metrics of the poll than a lot of people would think. But the first comment was from Gooey Burger 86. And I had him here. There he is. So I'll ask you guys, positive, negative, or meme from Gooey Burger 86?
Meme.
No meme on that one.
You said pretty good. Hendrick looked cheeks today, and Hamlin is a serious championship threat. So is Briscoe.
I guess just kind of neutral. I guess positive.
As for some of the comments here, X-X said, I sure do love the illusion of being able to pass 10 laps after a restart. I sure do love dirty air. This Gen 7 is something else. No sarcasm.
I'll say, I don't know if it was as much dirty air in this case, because you could get side by side. I think this was just the results of the larger tire, more grip. They're shifting so you don't lose your momentum, or, I think that was actually a bigger factor. It's still the car. I'm just saying, I don't actually know that it was dirty air as much this week as in weeks prior. It was the other parts of the car that don't race great at ovals.
Might have been a lot of dirty air though, too. There were a few times they showed overheads where guys went into the turn behind somebody else and they just went straight. And it was like,
oh yeah, God. For sure.
Don't add that to NASCAR 25. That's for sure. Power of the Poof says you can either get on the bandwagon or get run over by it. Denny should get into the Hall of Fame off of that quote alone.
So I was going to say this earlier and I got sidetracked. Denny Hamlin is one of the few exceptions when we talk about personality. Thing is, he is actively in a court battle with the sanctioning body itself. So there we go. Our biggest personality is not only 2 years away from retirement, but he's also actively the sport's leading antagonist. So
yeah,
great position to be in.
Spencer said W to NBC for showing the pyro live. Fox would never.
Yes.
That's true.
That's true. They literally did never.
Black Hat leaves a bit of a longer one here, but says, maybe an unpopular opinion, but it bugs me that Larson isn't looked at as a dirty driver at this point. He can be dirtier than drivers who are considered dirty drivers like Logano or Chastain. Not saying he's an Austin Hill level driver or anything, but seriously, today was the last straw for me.
I wonder where this guy has their scale at. So 0 is, Chris Buescher, let's say. 10 is Austin Hill, maybe, or who is 10 on his scale if it's not
Austin Hill? If he says if he brought up, he invoked the name of the big bully. And then let's see, I think it's Chesky's Adventures says, I don't know how you can ignore the fact that no one could pass besides on the restarts. So
it was one of those weird races, where not even just on the restart, but 10 or 15 laps after you could still pass, and then as the tires aged, the passing stopped, which is kind of the opposite of most other ovals. So that was interesting.
Angus John McPherson is our gutter comment this week, who says every time the foreign Japanese manufacturer Toyota wins a race, it pisses me off. So this race is again sucking. On to next weekend at Bristol.
That Japanese company just got their 200th.
Let's ignore they have more employees in the U.S. than the other two. And moving on.
Yeah, well, that was the poll, the famous iceberg poll. Danny, I know your boarding group is going to get called here pretty soon. Do you have a moment to do random driver of the week? I know we're an hour early, chat. Roast us all you want, but we got Danny here. We can play the game. If he's not here, we can't play the game. Danny, do you have a minute?
I do have a minute, but I'll probably mute my microphone because I hear a plane taking off right behind me.
All right. Well, there we go. That's a perfect time to put up random driver of the week. I love the unorthodox shows, honestly. They're really fun.
Yeah, this one's definitely different. But what's not different is that I'm about to win this and I think extend my lead. Do I have a lead right now in random driver of the week?
I believe so. 29-28. Yeah,
This is it.
29-28.
We can't let you extend the lead because no one gets a 2-point lead. It never happens.
Eric has 3 of the last 5, including the last 2 in a row, which were Mike Dillon and Jack Sprague, as well as Todd Bodine. Danny got Willie T. Ribbs and Frankie Muniz. So let's get it started, y'all. This random driver's middle name is Burton.
Okay.
And
That's a red herring if I've ever seen one.
And this random driver was once sponsored by Waylon Jennings.
Cool.
I should probably make sure I have the sounders ready to go. This random driver is a Tennessee native.
So this is home field advantage.
Just gonna go ahead and try Marty Robbins. I don't know if we've done him yet.
We have.
I think we did do Marty Robbins. I think that was when David Lander slap scooped up, and I was
I think so.
pissed.
David got him.
I just wanted to go ahead and try that one because of Music Connection in Tennessee.
Fair enough.
This random driver competed in the now dead series NASCAR. Yes, it is a real series.
They put NASCAR in a casket. I will see myself out.
Eric and I have never tweeted about this random driver. Danny has twice.
Odds are stacked against me this week, boys.
Well, you do have a little help on your end because you'll be able to write down the numbers.
Oh, yeah.
And Danny, I don't know if you have paper on you or not, but all right. So Danny had to memorize them here. This random driver ran these numbers: 00, 1, 01, 2, 4, 5, 8, 09, 10, 12, 14, 17, 22, 40, 41, 42, 44, 48, 52, 69, nice, 70, 82, 92, 94, 95.
Going too fast.
Okay. Gonna go ahead and make a guess of Connie Saylor.
That is a good guess, but wrong. Danny with 2 off the board already, and we still have, I think, a lot of clues to go. So Danny better be sure on the next one. This random driver ran in these OEMs: Chevy, Ford, Dodge, Pontiac, Buick, and Oldsmobile.
Oh, man. Has the chat gotten it yet, Jarrett?
Yes, some have.
Oh, good job, chat. I'm lost.
This random driver did compete in IROC, finishing with a career high of a 4th place finish. So didn't win.
But you had to win to be in the IROC series, I'm pretty sure. So
when talking about road course racing in NASCAR, this random driver said, quote, "They ought to plow them up or leave them for the wine and cheese boys."
That's a quote right there.
Yeah. I knew I saw that one. Yep, that goes in.
Leave them for the wine and cheese boys. God.
This random driver has won in both Cup and Xfinity.
Ooh, okay.
This random driver has raced for the likes of Jimmy Means, Junior Johnson, and the Stavola brothers, among other owners. This random driver led the points in the Cup Series in 4 separate seasons, but never won a title.
Man.
I had to get more creative with the clues.
Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know who that. I'm lost.
In 1993, this random driver flew through the air in the Daytona 500, landed, kept going, later led the race, and finished 9th.
1993.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's going to give it away for a lot of people. Let's see.
This This random driver's highest Cup points finish was third twice. So didn't get a championship, but ran top 5 in points twice. The third.
Could you repeat the OEMs for me?
Yeah. Where they at? Chevrolet, Ford, Dodge, Pontiac, Buick, and Oldsmobile.
Sterling Marlin, and I'll give up with that one.
Love it. Yeah,
Danny's
there you
got
go.
it. Sterling Marlin.
That's a
We
good
got-
one.
I think we got Sterling and Cuckoo in the same year, man.
I think so.
Good stuff. Dang it.
Yeah.
I've never tweeted about Sterling Marlin. Wow, what
I'm
the
So
heck?
do you know?
that I have twice. But you know what? The guy with the T has to get the Tennessee driver. So
So we're tied up at 29. So we're all tied up now with that. And
Not
I'm
nice.
I'm now 2-0 at this from a remote location.
that's right.
It's BS. The satellites are feeding him intel.
You're the only one to win this game outside the United States. Our first international winner, Danny B from Hendersonville.
First one to win in a place where it's like 105 degrees right now.
The highest
One-
temperature for a win.
One small step for Danny B.
I did not include, well, I should say I did not say yet, though, his best quote, calling
Yeah.
Greg Biffle a bug-eyed dummy.
Oh, I would have gotten it with that one.
I had to hear the OEMs again because I was thinking Sterling Marlin for a while, but I had to hear wait, I don't remember hearing Dodge. I need to hear that, and then that confirmed it.
Do you know he ran Dodge at Phoenix Racing the same year that Brad Keselowski won?
Yes, because they were when Brad was in, they were getting Hendrick Chevy support. When they didn't have it, they used the Dodges that they still had.
Yep. And that was his last year. That was Sterling Marlin's last year. It was 2009. So after that little fun
aside,
segment,
Danny, I don't know. Do you have to go? Are you getting close to boarding over there?
Yes, I should go. Because we will be boarding here soon. And so that does it for me. I've showed up and I've gave my piece. I got what I came here for, and I'm ready to go.
Gosh, dude just stream sniped random driver from us.
Jarrett's got my my picks and predictions later, so it should be fun. I'll go back and tune into your all's reactions to hear how floored you are at what I think will happen in the future.
Oh man.
it'll be fun.
I hope you went outside the box on at least one of them.
I think I did. I don't remember.
All right. Well, Danny, have a safe flight. Thanks for popping in. Wouldn't have been the same without you. But we'll see you again next week, dude.
It would have been the same.
It would have been the same.
How so? How would it be the same?
I don't know. No, it wouldn't have been the same. Because
Eric wouldn't have won random driver. That's how it would have been the same.
That's true. It would have been better. No, I would have won. I would have won random driver. No, I'm just kidding. Danny, happy belated birthday as well. Chat was saying happy birthday again before you go.
You guys can now call me Danny B. Unk.
Danny B. Unk. That was
B reaching
safe flight
status.
man.
I had to come in here to win this because Unk still got it. I'm sorry.
Good stuff.
I'm 30 now. I can have fun with this.
He's really embracing the 30ness.
Next, he's gonna be yelling at us to get off his lawn.
I'll do that. Jarrett, come on over. I'll tell you.
I'll give you what for.
I'll push that down the road a little bit.
or bring your little one. I'll say, you kid, get off my lawn.
She can't even crawl yet. Go faster.
Better learn how. All right, I'm gonna go now. It's been fun.
See ya.
See you, Danny.
We'll see you next week on whose channel?
My channel.
On Jarrett's channel. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Use Xfinity series.
Danny B making an impact on this show. The Xfinity race, we can move on. Jared, it's back to just you and me now. Mano a mano, 1v1. Connor Zilich gets the win. I don't think there's going to be much debate here. The kid is obviously incredible. If you include the Daytona win, which I know is really a Parker Kligerman win, but he gets credit. Zilich gets credit for it. If you include that, it's 14 straight top 5 finishes. It's, I think, 8 wins in that span, a 1.9 average finish, 14 races. I said this earlier in the week. This would be a ridiculous stat line in ARCA. In ARCA West, this would be a ridiculous stat. He is doing this. Junior Motorsports, give the team a lot of credit as well, is doing this in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
This is why we amend our takes as we go when new information comes in, because I believe it was right before this when the rumor started up of him going to Cup. And I'm like, I don't know if he's ready for Cup. And now I'm looking at him like, well, he certainly ain't going to be in Xfinity much longer. He's way too good for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a God run. I mean, it's insane. I struggled to have those numbers in career mode on NASCAR Thunder 04. Like
on easy mode.
On easy mode. Yeah. Like it is insane just how damn good he has been so far. And I'm amazed by it. It's hard to really have a long Xfinity Series segment anymore outside of maybe we could talk about like some of the younger guys that almost were within his tire tracks, but because it's the same thing each week, he's just that damn good. And I know people get sick of hearing about it, but it's the truth. Now,
yeah.
Well, I will say, all these people are like, he's going to go up to Cup and dominate. No, he's not.
Yeah. No.
But I could totally see him being like a Kyle Busch style rookie season where he struggles at first, runs like 20th in points and still gets a win or two. Like I could see that happening. I think he has the upside to do that at least. But like, I mean, I think you brought this up this week, Eric. Like we throw around the word generational way too much nowadays. Like,
sure.
You know, and I saw,
now, you know,
well, like I saw ESPN this week, like Ryan Clark got into hot water for like, you know, he's like Drew Brees and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and all these people weren't generational talents. And it's like, well, I mean, generational talent is usually just like once in a generation, you see someone that talented, you know. This is I would argue this would be the generational talent we're talking about, especially if he can convert it into Cup. Like I would argue that it's a good descriptor.
I think the run he is on, and again, I want to encompass the whole team because this team also won with Kligerman in the car. They also won with Kyle Larson in the car. Like Connor Zilich is a wheelman. And he's doing incredible things for an 18, 19-year-old kid who had very little oval, very little stock car racing experience before this year. But it should not go unnoticed that he is driving probably the best car in the series week in, week out. The only other guy in the same zip code as him has been his teammate, the defending champion, Justin Allgaier. So Junior Motorsports is wheeling and dealing. But this run, this 14-race stretch at the very least, is a generational run. We've not seen a run like this maybe in Xfinity Series history. Kyle Busch had some incredible years, but keep in mind, Kyle Busch, some of his best Xfinity work was when he was already an established Cup Series star. He was an established Cup winner, dipping back down to Xfinity and winning 8, 9, 10 races a year. He had one year where he won 13 races. That's now maybe the mark Zilich is trying to get to. Can Zilich, I guess technically he has 9. The car has 10 wins this year. Can he get to 13 in these final 7? That's the carrot, you know, dangling at the end of the stick that he's chasing, maybe more so than the championship. But I just like the only person I can think of who's put a run like this together in my lifetime, at least, was Kyle Busch. The difference was Kyle Busch was already a Cup winner when he did it. So yeah, I haven't seen anything like this.
I'd ask, you know, if we're putting together the bingo card of it, is the Roval like his free square? Like since SVG can't come down this time.
True.
Like
Allmendinger can't. So yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So like the best road course racer right now in NASCAR and the best Roval racer in NASCAR will not be against him. Like, and
free
I
space.
think
I like that. That's fun.
It would be. I mean, I could totally see him speeding on pit road, getting a speeding penalty, and then chasing down Justin Allgaier and still winning by like 4 seconds in that one. So like he could win there. He's run up front during super speedway races. He's, you know, been good at pretty much everywhere they go. Why can't he get 4 of the last 7?
Yeah, and you look at that final round as well, because also I think the goal that now should be championship 4. Which if we throw up the point, let me put the points up on screen just for reference. He has a 59-point lead to begin this first round, so he is going to be in a great points position in both the first and the second round, barring 1 or 2 bad races. He should move on.
You look what the difference is for the final 4 points wise for him. It's like, oh, he's 59 up right now going in. If he doesn't get any playoff points at all over the next 3 weeks, which I think he will, he'll still be 51 up.
Yeah, that's true. He will enter the next round with a 51-point advantage minimum.
And he would be 48 up even with 2 new winners. Like, he would have to have the choke job of the century. Like, this would have to be Kevin Harvick 2020 on steroids.
Yeah,
for him not to make it.
I agree.
Is he our free square for final 4 picks?
I mean, maybe. Yeah, honestly. But I look at the round of 8, Talladega, he was leading when he wrecked there and got injured, but he was leading at the time. The other 2 races in that round are Las Vegas, and where I believe he led some laps in the spring, and Martinsville, where if I recall, he started on pole and led like 100 laps before he got wrecked. And this will be his second trip to these places.
Yeah,
he's going to be dangerous. He's got to be your free space for the championship 4, like you said. At this point, just an unbelievable run.
I mean, we're going in. Who's your championship 4 if you had to pick? Because I picked mine on Saturday night. I think is when they had the race. I picked mine Saturday night. Like, of these 12, do you want me to go through mine first, or
yeah, go for it? I have my 4, but you start off.
So Connor Zilisch is a free space. I'm going to go with Justin Allgaier as well. I feel confident about him. After that, I can't say I'm confident in Sam Mayer just because he's so checkers or records. Like, he should logically make it.
He's been more consistent this year. I think his average finish is like 11th or something.
No, I'm not saying he has been bad. It's just like when the chips are down, Sam Mayer tends to like lose his head a little bit. And then pretty much everybody else, I can't really trust any of them. Like, they could make it. I think, and I said this the other night, I think it's going to be JRM versus RCR. I think it's going to be Jesse Love and Austin Hill joining Connor Zilisch and Justin Allgaier. Why, do we have the same one?
This is why we need Danny here, because you and I, too often do we align perfectly. Shoot,
well, no,
man.
Danny would probably say the 88 too. He'd probably say the 7 based on his talk. And his prediction is the 21 is going to make it to the final 4 with no playoff points. We might be completely aligned outside of like the 2. He might pick somebody else.
So I was split. So my top 3 were Zilisch, Allgaier, Hill, because that final second last, the round of 8 it's like Austin Hill's wet dream. I mean, Talladega and Martinsville back to back. He's going to win one of those races.
And he's been good at Vegas. He's been
and he can win Vegas. He's very competitive at Vegas. So I think Hill makes it, even though he's at a playoff point deficit. The 4th spot was what I struggled with. I was really between Sam Mayer and actually I was between Mayer, Jesse Love, and Brandon Jones. Don't discount that veteran Brandon Jones experience. He's won a race this year, and he's the best guy at Joe Gibbs Racing. Like, are we really predicting a Chevy Champ 4 lockdown? I don't know. I think a Toyota or a Ford has a shot. Brandon Jones could be in that mix, but really it was Mayer versus Love. Sam Mayer, I think if you look at his qualifying numbers lately, he's qualified top 5 in like 6 straight races. Like, he is up front getting stage points. Jesse Love struggles with that a little bit, but his finishes have been better. Some of that classic Sam Mayer inconsistency has crept in recent weeks. So that's why I had Love sneaking in. Again, Talladega, he's probably going to get points there.
My argument was that I think Hill can make it in because of how close it is. Because like, he can get playoff points in this too. Like, my argument is he can probably make it enough points and Love could get the win at Talladega. Like, I could see that happen. It's so close from 3rd to 12th that any of those guys could get knocked out one week or win the other. Like, the only one that I say couldn't probably be a threat to make it with Talladega being there. Like, I don't see Harrison Burton making it past this round. But like the rest of them, like I have been someone who says don't sleep on Gray, because I think he's going to get that win at some point.
You like Taylor Gray. Nick Sanchez, I mean, he won Atlanta. I mean, he could have shocked us if he gets through. Yeah.
Well, and you brought Brandon Jones. I picked him this week. I saw the people in the chat laughing at me, and he ended up being the 2nd best pick this week behind Zilisch. So like I think for me, I say there's 3 I don't trust getting that far. Harrison Burton, because I think he'll be a 1st round exit. I don't trust Sammy Smith. His 1 win was off a DQ. Like, I don't think he's going to win. And I don't trust Sheldon Creed. I like him.
Ah,
I hope he
damn.
does well. I don't trust
No,
him.
I don't either. You look who you're talking to. I'm the
Oh, that's right.
anti-Creed guy.
Yeah, you're on the Creed hate train.
I don't mean to be, but hey, everyone has their bandwagon. I guess this is the one I got latched onto. No, so we agree. I think we both agree it's gonna be all Chevy, JRM, RCR. I think a good mix of youth and experience. I think Phoenix would be fascinating because Zilich is the red hot rookie, but Allgaier kind of owns that place. It would be Allgaier's 8th championship 4 appearance if he makes it. 8. You can't top that experience. So
I'll
it'd be
add this too.
interesting.
Like, if Austin Hill restarts third behind Zilich and Allgaier, like, does he crash them to win it?
Yeah, I mean,
think
he got
does.
suspended. He got suspended. We saw how he drove at Watkins Glen the next
Yeah.
week. Like,
I think he does, and he looks Phelps in the eye and basically says, "I dare you to take it away. Like,
yeah.
I dare you to make a huge controversy
We
and
need-
take it away."
We need a tail of the tape. Somebody drop a graphic. Connor Zilich versus Austin Hill. I need height. I need weight. I need reach. That might be the most imbalanced fight in NASCAR history. Let's hope it doesn't come back.
He'll send him to the Shadow Realm too.
Oh,
He'll send him to meet up with Myatt Snyder.
God. Oh, geez, Louise. Well, that was our Gateway race recap. Really appreciate you all spending the first hour with us. With that being said, we have been paying close attention to the chat all night. Now it's time to read a few super chats we've gotten, including some super chats from before the show began. Jarrett, I'll go for a few minutes. You don't have to time me. I have a good internal clock, unlike, some like Chicago Bears quarterbacks. I am very good at time management. I knew you'd appreciate that one.
I've been a good sport and not been, I just wore the stuff as a statement.
I want to drag it out of you. Bailey Reichert got a star tonight with a $5 super chat. Really appreciate that, Bailey. Is it me, or if Chase Briscoe and Denny Hamlin been qualifying or finishing 1-2 a lot this year? Well, I do know qualifying. Briscoe's got 5 or 6 poles. Hamlin just got 2 in a row. So it's a lot. Yeah, for sure. Couple here from Joshua Boston. This was before, right as when the show was starting. He said RIP to Charlie Kirk, which if you're just tuning in, we talked about that at the start of the show. Then Joshua Boston also chimes in with, I am looking ahead to going to my first cup race at Kansas with my father and grandfather in 2 weeks. What must I bring with me on the trip? And what are some things that I must bring back with me? Well, that's an interesting second comment. Definitely bring some hearing protection just in case, at least earplugs or something. If you have a scanner, adds to the experience. If you want to rent one, it can be a little pricey, but there's always the opportunity to do that. But I think you need to pre-order that ahead of time. If Kansas, if it has the same policy as a lot of tracks, you can probably bring in food and water. Double check their website.
Really good one. My dad and I have done this for a few years now. Is if there are spots available to buy that front row parking, take it, because you get out of the track so much quicker afterwards. You don't get stuck in the line. They shuffle you forward. So it's worth the money.
Okay, that is good to know. As far as what you should bring back, I mean, I don't know. I haven't bought a souvenir at a race in a while. I used to go all the time because that's early in the year at Texas. A lot of the new diecasts would be out by that point. That'd be the first week all the new diecasts were out, and I did the stop motion videos. So I would go up and down the aisles picking up all the 164s. So I'll be right back. Amelia just got home. Can you hear the dog?
Oh my God. I was like, he's
shrieking. Give me a second. I got to close the door. He just ran out of here to say hi to us. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Sorry, people.
I'll put the pause on the super chat stage break. That way Eric can get back. I'm seeing people in the chat talk about him too. Poor Cosmo. All right, we're good. Mic's off. You're still muted.
Is it still off?
You're good.
Oh, okay. Because I was on mute. Took a second then. Yeah. Sorry. You might even still be able to hear him when he gets excited. It sounds like he's dying.
Did I tell you that Riss has trained Rhett, our dog, who's a big 50, 60 pound poodle? This we say, when he's hungry, use your words, and he'll go that and talk to us that he wants to be fed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So we have a loud dog too.
I apologize if he continues to shriek here for the next few minutes. From Isaac V24 says, no matter what format we get in the future, please no one race championship. I despise it so much. It makes me retroactively hate Cars, the movie, for introducing it. I guess with the 3-way tie runoff. Rowdy 8 Diecast says, I had a good time at Gateway. Surprisingly, not the worst service I've had at a track. They had Verizon Frontline, which helped. Fan zone there is neat. I have heard very good things about the Gateway fan zone. Have you been there, Jared? I think didn't you go a couple years ago?
Their
the fan zone
runway
good?
is awesome. Like there's so much stuff to do, stuff to eat, stages. I loved it. They did a great job.
Yeah, we got a few more super chats here. Again, reacting to the tragic news from earlier this afternoon. The first one came from Bobby Blair. Said, sorry to bring up politics, but R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. He was divisive, but always stood up for what he believed in and did it in a calm, respectful manner. A good man. Then we got one from Stephen Gibson. Said, this one's for Charlie. Thank you guys for still going live tonight to help us cope a tiny bit. Hope for a good Bristol race, but I expect a train the entire time. Yeah, and then from Creston, I believe. It's a cursed day, man. Yes, very sad. We talked earlier about a lot of strong emotions being felt, unfortunately, by so many people today as a result of all the recent tragedies, frankly. From Rowdy 8 Diecast, I'll do a few more here. Jared, I'm going to the Vikings commies game in December, flying from DC to support my visiting squad. JJ and JJ are going to be a crazy duo, though. What's your early prediction for that game, Jarrett?
I'm picking the Redskins to win that one. I like Jaden. I think because thing is like after we do these shows, like me, Eric, and Danny will talk football and especially for the draft, like we did like full on draft mocks and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you remember, Eric, but I was like hitting the table. I'm like, Jaden Daniels, it should be the number 1 pick. He's the best quarterback in this draft. He's gonna be hitting the tires right off the bat, flying.
Yeah, you nailed that one.
He's great. Those LSU boys are great. I will say if you're going to the game, get there early. Generally, it's pretty chill with away fans. I went to the Vikings-Packer game, and it was one of the most chill experiences, and we even got our asses kicked. So, like, as long as, there aren't a bunch of idiots starting fights, like, you'll have a great time. And have fun looking around being like, what the hell are these idiots doing when we start doing our skull chant?
Maybe they'll join in, not knowing any better. No,
it's fun.
A couple here from Justin Drake. One says, "R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. If you can't speak about your opinions openly or share your own perspectives, then what is going on in the world?" And then also said, and this was, I saw Danny B reacted to this before he left, but this was Danny said, from a USF student / fan to a Tennessee fan, you're welcome for handling the Gators. Shout out to the South Florida Bulls. Is that what they're called?
I'm college football literate.
I found out recently they're based in Tampa. When I think South Florida, I think Miami, but there's already so many schools and stuff down in Miami. I guess it makes sense. Tampa. All right. Good for USF knocking off the Florida Gators. We will get to the rest. Actually, we will get to the rest of the super chats. Yeah, where did I leave off? Yeah, we will get to the rest of the super chats in the second half. We'll keep moving. We're making good time here. We do really appreciate your support. Appreciate you all chiming in. It's the Bulls. Thank you. It's in Tampa and St. Pete. I know they're like adjacent to each other. Someone, Spencer in the chat says, I'm football anything illiterate. So relatable there. We're into the second half of the show, which means it's time for the lightning round. Jarrett, what do we have tonight? You got 60 seconds. No pressure. Clock management.
Okay, well, we got the NWP channel at NWP Clips for all of the replays of each episode. Ford Performance has been rebranded to Ford Racing, which saw a lot of people happy about. Kind of off topic, but Formula One has said they're close to announcing their new U.S. media rights. Apple is a heavy favorite, could change the motorsports landscape a lot. The North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation has opened an investigation to the grant money, $375,000, that was allocated to Rockingham. So more fun there.
I'm shocked.
San Diego native Sheldon Creed has shown interest in racing all 3 San Diego races next summer if NASCAR will allow. They're talking about possibly not allowing that. Dale Jr. recently said he has no more plans to make any more Xfinity Series and or other NASCAR starts. Could happen, but no plans at any point in the future right now. NASCAR 25 revealed their track lists, and unfortunately, Bowman Gray and Mexico City are not on it. That's going to be controversial. And next week will be on my channel, September 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And Eric, should I bring up, this doesn't count as lightning round. I think I hit my minute. We do have 2 episodes with guests coming up.
Sure. You want to announce them? Who do we got coming up in the next few weeks?
So on September 24th on Danny's channel, we'll have Grant from Auto Racing Analytics come back on. He's always fun to have on right before Kansas. He goes to him, and he always brings a good perspective. And then October 8th on my channel, we will be bringing back Michael Marut to come back on and try and win Random Driver over Ballbuster Danny.
All right. Fun
So
stuff.
gonna be a lot of fun coming up, and we'll probably have more guests as well as the year winds down. But that is the full lightning round.
Good stuff. I think the core lightning round, I didn't clock. It was probably right around 60 seconds. So job well done, Jarrett. Very, very efficient. We've got some headlines to kick off the second half of tonight's show. Haas factory team announces they are switching to Chevrolet for next season. This is not just a cup switch for Cole Custer. This is also an Xfinity or soon to be O'Reilly Auto Parts Series switch for Sam Mayer and Sheldon Creed. Now there are broad ramifications here. A lot of ways we could go with this. I guess we'll start with what this means for Haas. They will get support from Chevrolet. It will be a Hendrick Engines deal. I don't know. This may look kind of like how they did in their early days in the 2000s, or even when Tony Stewart. I don't know if it'll be as involved as when they had Harvick and they were at their peak in the 2010s. But maybe I compare this to like what Hayek Motorsports looks like. Single car Chevy team that does use Hendrick engines, gets some support, but they're not really all that competitive. I don't know. First impression, Jarrett, what's your expectation for Cole Custer in a Chevy next year?
I honestly think he'll probably be about the same. I think this is basically Haas setting back to where they were pre-Tony Stewart. It's there's no
Which
Tony
wasn't
Stewart
great.
side. It was not. No, there's no Tony Stewart side of it. They're maybe they'll at some point be a 2-car organization. They're under the Hendrick umbrella as like a 4th tier Chevrolet team. I'm expecting sub 30th more than likely. We're probably not going to get the best out of Cole Custer. I saw people like maybe they can bring the 0 back. I don't think Net Zero is sponsoring, so I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, they got the 00 in Xfinity. I mean,
I thought that's what they should have done for the Cup Series. Honestly,
I agree.
Yeah.
So I don't expect a ton from this team next year. I expect maybe a few small victories. Like as far as like we've seen them pop up really only twice this year. The 2 Daytona races are the only time we've really been like, whoa, there's Cole Custer. What? Maybe add a couple more top 5, top 10 performances into the mix, but I don't expect this team to realistically contend for a playoff spot outside of a possible super speedway win. It'll be interesting though to see how this may impact their O'Reilly Auto Parts Series team and relationships, because right now Haas is sort of the head of Ford's Xfinity Series program. They're the only tier 1 Xfinity team they have. They kind of work with Ryan Sieg, AM Racing. Like they're the team everyone else aligns themselves with. So if Haas is leaving, we don't know. I actually read an interview Matt Weaver did with Joe Custer today. It doesn't sound like they know what AM Racing and Ryan Sieg Racing are going to do next year. Are they going to stay with Ford and do their own thing, or are they going to move to Chevy as well and continue this partnership with Haas? Like that is all still TBD. So there's a non-zero chance that right now there are 0 Fords in the Xfinity Series next year. Probably won't happen. Rumors suggest other teams might join the forces there, but right now it's all up in the air.
Yeah, no, the rumor right now, I think, is that, and Danny brought it up too last week, was Team Penske coming back down and maybe having 1 or 2 entries down in the Xfinity Series at that point. I feel like for them, that would help, I think, when it comes to having a bit of a developmental side of things, especially with the news of Carson Kvapil. I don't think he is anything close to Cup ready. I would take Cindric over him right now, even with Cindric kind of being down in the dumps a little. But on the other end of it too, is that if by 2027 Dodge is in the mix, they're going to scoop up some of those teams that you could have for Ford as well. So on the Ford side, like you do, like it is required by NASCAR. You have to have teams in each series. Like you can't just like pick and choose, because then some would do trucks, others would do the top two. And so like they have to have somebody next year. So do they elevate Ryan Seagram Racing to the #1 Ford team? Does Penske come down?
Do they have the capabilities to be the #1 Ford? Like, I don't even know how that would work. I feel like it worked for Haas because they had the ability to be that manufacturer team. They had the resources to build everything to support it. So that's what I don't know. Yeah, will it be a Penske? Will it be somebody else making that transition? That's a good question. Side note, Jarrett, Noah in the chat says, "Oh wow, net zero does still exist according to their Google searching." So that's you learned something new today.
Is AOL still around?
I think I've seen a Sears store somewhere. Isn't there like one Blockbuster left in like Alaska or something?
I thought it was like Seattle or something like that. It could be
Somewhere
Alaska.
was-
I don't know.
Somewhere way
I don't
up
know.
there.
I remember going to Hollywood Video back in the day in Blockbuster. So like I don't know.
I used
West,
my mom.
West,
My
Go
mom
for it.
used to take me and my sister to Wendy's to get some chicken nuggies, and then we'd go to the Blockbuster in the same strip mall, and I would rent usually one of the 90s or early 2000s Scooby-Doo DVDs or VHSs. That was a regular Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. What on earth? My
Oh.
computer is like just sent me like an update. What is going on?
You're coming
Whoa.
over fine on this end. Mine
Holy
was
hell. The most secure Windows yet. I just got a giant freaking like full screen Windows 12 or 11, whatever the hell that was. All right, I got out of it.
this
That was
thing's
weird.
going off the rails.
I thought I blue screened for a moment there, but it was just Windows giving me an ad for a product I already own. What is going on?
See I
Anyway,
was a
sorry.
Scooby Doo kid like you, because I had the What's New Scooby Doo. That was like the goated theme song one. And then there was the Zombie Island,
Yep.
and
That was
there
in the
was
rotation.
the one. What was his name? What was his name? He was in Home Alone 2. He played Pennywise originally.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. He was in the one that they introduced the
Yeah,
Hex Girls in.
That's right. I forget what that was
Yeah.
called. There's one where they go to Egypt that was in our rotation that we'd rent a lot, and then obviously the live action Scooby Doos. We like those. We watched the
My
live
mom
action
took me
Scooby
to
Doos too.
theaters to see the
Yeah,
I think
those
the
were coming
second
out. That was prime. We grew up at the right time, Jarrett. I think so.
Reggie. Sorry. I was about to say a meme, and I'm like, I should probably.
Yeah, you caught
bring
yourself.
that
Good
one
job.
back.
Well played. Well played. Any other Scooby Doo fans in the chat? Scooby's one of those like intellectual properties that will just never die. I think Scooby will transcend generations for generations to come. Who doesn't love a talking? It's a talking dog, man. Like, come on,
dude. That's a good pull.
Yeah,
I love the best part is that they're married. It's like
Yes.
it was a boy's cartoon or a girl's cartoon. It was so ahead of its time. It was a talking dog.
We can get into some reckless speculation, I think,
We're not
before we
reckless already.
before we start to look ahead into the next weekend and beyond. So RCR to Dodge has been, let's just say, speculated ever since Colleague to Ram became a rumor and then an official partnership. Colleague Racing, of course, is located on or adjacent to RCR's campus in Welcome, North Carolina. And where I think a lot of these rumors come from, I should mention this was Mopar insiders that mentioned this rumor recently on said internet, and everything we read on the internet is true, so we should react to it accordingly. But where I think these rumors really have weight, if you look at the NASCAR Cup Series right now, Hendrick Motorsports builds Chevy engines. Roush Yates, whatever, builds Ford engines. Toyota builds the Toyota engines. RCR also builds Chevy engines. Well, it's ECR. What if the RCR ECR engine shop were to become the new Dodge engine shop? You know, like Dodge, if you're going to enter the NASCAR Cup Series, you need an engine. That's the big thing. So much of this series is spec now. The engines are not. RCR has an established engine shop, been doing it for years. Might make sense for Dodge to come in and kind of take that over, perhaps. Now, prying Richard Childress away from General Motors and Chevrolet, That would be a change. That would be drastic. So what do you make of these rumors, Jarrett? Do you ever see in the next few years RCR going to Dodge?
I could see Austin Dillon wanting it to happen and pushing it. I can never see Richard Childress doing it.
Sure.
I feel like Richard Childress has proven to us that he is someone who is stuck in his ways and he will not change,
Fair.
even if it were to benefit him. I hope he proves me wrong because I want to see RCR do well. At the same time, man, seeing the 3 as a Dodge, it's not bad. Like it wouldn't be like it's cursed Toyota. Well, it wouldn't be like a cursed Toyota 3 car that people always make on iRacing, but it's like, man, I can't see the black 3 as anything but a Chevy either. Like that's
Maybe
probably
they
like
retire the 3. Maybe
or at
Austin
least
Dillon
the font.
Maybe Austin Dillon in 3 years retires. 3 goes away. Maybe it's the 33 or the 29, and they
31.
I'm just and boom, bada bing, bada boom, you're in. But I'm with you. That's a good theory that like some of the younger group there, Austin Dillon's like, yeah, we need to change something. Pop, and Pop's like, no.
I wonder if Kyle Busch would be like, oh, we can be a tier 1 team. All right, I'll stay only if you guys go to Dodge.
I think he would have every right to make that ultimatum. Now, if you're RCR, I think they'd like to keep Kyle Busch. Is he the most valuable? Is he the valuable asset he was 3 or 4 years ago? I'm not sure. Like but how much leverage would Kyle have there? I don't really know. I think a decent amount, maybe not as much as he used to. Yeah, I just want to see RCR change something, shake up the status quo, because the status quo is not interesting right now. I know Austin Dillon's made the playoffs because he's for some reason goated at Richmond. Like, good for him. That's great. But he's under the cut line right now. Probably will get eliminated this week. If not, he'll get eliminated in the next 3 weeks. Like, he's not going that far in the playoff. Like, RCR is just not interesting right now. So I want to see the status quo shaken up. So if that means a move to Dodge, yeah, the traditionals, even Richard Childress himself might have a hard time stomaching it. I just want to see them competitive. That's what I care about. So, chat, what do you think? I see they're all making blue collar jokes in the chat. So
I was about to say, is Dodge blue collar enough?
I mean, they're playing up the whole Americana rah. We are, so yeah, and they're all their advertising. I think they're trying to lean into that style. Another reckless rumor. I saw this in a couple places this week, but there's been some chatter that Hailie Deegan is considering a NASCAR return, likely to the Craftsman Truck Series. I've not seen. I know Breakhard. We know Breakhard, friend of the show. He's talked about it a bit. I don't know his sources. I'm sure he has decent sources. I'm sure there's some truth to the fact that she's maybe had some conversations. Absolutely. But I don't think it's a done deal per se. So I don't know how valid these rumors truly are, but let's entertain them for a second, Jarrett. That's why we call this the reckless speculation segment. What would you think of a Hailie Deegan Truck Series return?
It'd probably be the same thing we saw before, right? She'll be probably in the mid-20s, even if it's a good team. Maybe she'll get a few top 20 finishes here or there. And we'll probably have the endless debate and excuses that we had last time. I'm just
more of the same. That's what you're predicting.
Yeah, we'll have more of the same. And the thing is like, she went over to open wheel for like a year and she was just dog water for most of it. She wasn't good. Like, let's call it as it is. Like, there were times we would look, like we'd be sharing the practice times and she was like 3 seconds, 2 seconds off the pace. And it's like, that you're just not cut out for that side of it. And then on this side, her development as a driver has just been so nuked by short-term changes. I just don't see how she can succeed at this point. Like, she never really showed all that much promise after, getting into trucks with good trucks to begin with. Like, why is now different?
I think that's entirely fair. I think Hailie Deegan's draft stock, if you will, was at its peak in like 2019 when she was 18 years old, I think, was winning K&N West races actually somewhat regularly. That Kevin Harvick raced against her and said, yeah, I think she's legit. Like, that was Hailie Deegan's stock at its highest. But what happened immediately after 2019? COVID, pandemic, track time, practice time, gone. She struggled, I'd say, in the main ARCA series. She ran 5th, 6th, but that was like, that's the minimum when you're in a car as good as she was in. And then trucks, you're right. Between ThorSport, DGR, which is now Tricon, uninspired, didn't really get better year after year. Xfinity was a historical flame out, unfortunately. I Haley Deegan's one of the biggest enigmas, I think, in recent memory, because go back to 2019, she had, I think, a trait that a lot of young drivers don't have, frankly. She looked fearless out there. Like, she was not afraid to put the bumper to guys, rough people up. She was aggressive, and that can get you in trouble. But you know what they always say: it's easier to pull someone back than it is to push them forward. She didn't need to be pushed forward in her early ARCA and K&N starts. But somewhere along the way, was she really getting raced that much more rough in trucks than the other guys? Maybe. Was it just not the right crew chief situation? She never had the handle. Was it the lack of practice time simply? I don't know what it was, but it felt like as the years went by, that fearlessness was less visible, I guess. And I think if she went back to trucks, like you said, she'd probably be fine. She'd run 20th. If she's in a good truck, she'll run 20th and maybe occasionally sneak into the top 10, top 15. I don't think she wouldn't be a joke out there.
No,
I
she'd
would
be better than
no.
like Breidinger and Muniz and like the
Yeah,
normal ones we
100%.
see way back there.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think she could hold her own, but she would not be getting the absolute most out of her equipment if her history is telling. Which, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of these rumors. She's still young enough that I'd love. I think let me put it this way: if she's ever going to be a professional, like on national TV race car driver, I think she has a far better shot in stock car racing than open wheel, IndyCar type racing. So I think
What's her
if she
driving
really wants
style
to,
better?
yeah, I mean I know she hasn't been running stock cars that long either, but longer than she's been running anything like IndyCar. So I just think it's probably better to stick with that. She at least has a foundation in that style of racing. But interesting rumors, interesting for sure. Couple more things real quick. The Hauler Talk podcast, hosted by NASCAR Director of Communications Mike Ford, noted a few potential rule/procedural changes for next year. There was some talk about how to eliminate all the fuel saving at super speedways. And I did see on Reddit, I think some of his quotes got misconstrued. They suggested that Mike Ford said, "Oh yeah, NASCAR is actively looking at adding stages to Daytona, Talladega." Well, that's not really what he said. He says, hey, that's been on the table in the past, but that's not. He didn't make it sound like that's what they're aiming for. Instead, if anything, they might change the lengths of the 3 stages that are currently in place, which I don't know how much you can really do. I think no matter what, you're going to end up with some fuel saving at Daytona, Talladega. I think you just hope, like we saw a few weeks ago, that the natural cautions fall at the right time to prevent as much fuel saving. Because I mean, the Daytona race a couple weeks ago was great. I think we all agree that was one of the best. That might have been the best Daytona race in the next gen era. I think it was all because of when drivers wrecked and stuff, when the cautions fell more than anything.
Yeah, and I think the interneted this one where they read the headline that a person put, and then like a bunch of people like us and Jeff Gluck and others had to be like, actually, if you listen to what they said, I think that the decision, because they're not going to add that stage more than likely from the sound of it. So the decision, I think, is, do you want to front load the race with fuel saving, or do you want it on the back end of the race? If you shorten up the first 2 stages and make them 35 laps apiece, well, then you have, at the Daytona 500, if you have like, 130 laps and you're going to have
You
fuel
have like
saving.
130 lap stage.
Do you do it like, if you're looking again, Daytona 500, do you like 80, 80, 40, so like there's a little fuel saving at the end, but you just basically have them run balls to the wall to the finish. Like, well, then you're going to make the opening 2.5 hours at the Daytona 500 completely skippable. So, it's a short-term fix. At the end of the day, the big fix is we got to make it easier to pass so that track position doesn't matter that much at a super speedway.
Yeah, it is a shame that there's, like, I understand that you can't make tweaks to the car every month, constantly, because there's a development, there's a pipeline, it's money. I understand all that, but like there really weren't any notable rule changes last year to this year, and it kind of feels like that's going to be the case this year to next year. It's like, oh, okay, like we should be making changes at least once a year, I would hope. But I mean, other than
There
flap on
It
the
has-
8 posts. There's not a lot, not much
You
going on.
have to make aero changes at this
Yeah.
point. The Daytona 500 is the most important race, not just because of status, but because what it means setting your whole season up. And if it's
Yeah.
boring as hell, or it makes people want to turn it off more than Fox's broadcast already does, then that you're setting the season up for failure, right? And Talladega is the same way. It's always a huge bump up early in the year. I don't know why we haven't, and maybe they've made them and they haven't made a big deal about it. I don't know why we haven't seen major swings at the aero package at this point. Removing stage yellows could help, but the racing still isn't going to be good. Like I think the whole crux of the issue is the racing here. And it's kind of what we talked about earlier. I was saying earlier, like, take your medicine and just like, let's go through it. You're going to have to go through it with getting the racing back on track. Daytona is a great step. Atlanta's been awesome. How do you replicate that more?
Yeah, 100%. They also mentioned the now increasing possibility, it sounds like, of a different playoff format for next season. Last we had heard an update was from, I think, Jeff Gluck, who is on the playoff format committee. And a couple months ago, he made it sound like, yeah, I don't think a lot of progress is being made here, guys. Sorry to say. Well, Mike Ford said that they actually have another meeting this coming week, next week, I should say. And the goal of that meeting is to parse through some of their final format ideas and hopefully narrow things down to one final format he mentioned, which could be implemented for 2026. Now, Jordan Bianchi on Door Bumper Clear on that podcast this week heavily suggested that there could be a 3-race, 4-race version of the 10-race playoff, which would eliminate the 1-race winner-take-all finale, would replace it with a 4-race final round. That, who knows, would that include a championship 8, I guess? Would the go from 12 to 8 to 4 instead of the 60? A lot of questions still out there, but point is, Jared, it sounds now like a new playoff format is very much on the table for next year. Are you confident in that? Do you think it's the right move?
Oh, that's a loaded question because there's so many.
I asked you 2 questions here. I'm sorry. I asked
you
no.
So
my bad.
It's a good conversation starter. So Jeff Gluck also did follow up and say that it's not as likely maybe as the Reddit post made it sound. And it's like it could be 26. It also really could be 27. I don't think there's definitive that it's going to be next year. And honestly, at this point, especially seeing how Gluck and others that have been public about being on the playoff committee have said they were kind of blindsided that this is the last meeting. No, I don't think so. If the people that are involved are kind of blindsided by it, and we're hearing from, more than likely leaked to Jordan Bianchi that it's going to be this to try and test the waters, then no, I think we should take more time to be sure on it. That's where I've been on, is like, if we're going to make a change, it needs to be done right. Need to gauge the fans a little bit more. That's kind of my thing on it too, is why are we having journalists on it? Like, if there's journalists on the panel, why can't there be some way of like a fan input too? Because like, in all honesty, I don't really care what writers have to say about the playoffs. Like, I want to know what fans and the people in it have to say about it. That's no disrespect. I'm not throwing disrespect, at least on purpose at Gluck and others that are in it, but just more like, I don't know. I question the way that it's all went through. As for the format itself, 3-3-4, I talked about it earlier this week. I think it's a step in the right direction. I still personally don't think it's far enough, but it sounds like it's because TV is basically put in the mandate for eliminations. Because I was on board for, let's just do a version of the 10-race chase that rewards winning, rewards the regular season. Do top 10 in points that qualify in, and then like the 6 best winners. Wouldn't change much of the postseason, but I think it would legitimize it more with fans than win and get in. But 4 races, it is better in the sense that we're not necessarily having people kind of just have their best track at the end, like Penske has had in recent years.
Yeah.
But then you have Talladega in it. And I'm sorry, I've brought it up a few times. I don't see NBC breaking up the big NBC races at the end of the year. So you're probably going to have Talladega in it every year. And I don't think 4 races with Talladega in it is enough of a sample size at that point. I think then you'd have to have more, because Talladega Talladega give you a 50-point swing, and then you're running into the same problem you had during the chase anyway. So like, why not do a chase if you're going to do a postseason?
Yeah. I'm with you about Talladega. Like, my take on Talladega for next year would be, if it's in there, if they do a 4-race final round and one of them's Talladega, I don't like it, but it doesn't ruin the format for me. But going forward, if that's every year, Talladega's in there, yeah, that could get old pretty quickly. I'm with you there. I have a couple of reactions. I don't know where to go with this first. So I don't mind how they've done the playoff committee, and I don't mind that they have, journalist voices. They have drivers, active and past. They have executives. They have TV. They have a lot of yeah, you're right. They don't have a jury of like 100 NASCAR fans randomly selected in those meetings as well. Like it'd be nice to incorporate directly fan input, but I do think in some ways that's what Twitter is for, and that's what ratings are
They
for,
ignore it.
sales are
Like
for.
you bring
Well,
it up
I
to like Bianchi, and he's like, "Nah, Twitter doesn't matter in any of this." And it's like, well, if that's what we're gonna use as input, which NASCAR does, like,
Well, yeah, well, I don't want to speak for anybody else specifically. I just mean like I do think like ultimately, journalists and writers and reporters and people like us have, I think we also have a stake in the sport. We have we are part of what presents the sport to the audience. I think it's fair for them to have a voice on it. Point is, I think they've taken plenty of time. Like I said this after the Gluck stuff a couple months ago, after their second meeting. I'm like, okay, after 2 meetings, you have all the information you need. NASCAR needs to make a call. Like at that point, you've gauged the temperature of the room, if you will. You've heard Mark Martin voice his part. You've heard Jordan Bianchi voice his part. You've seen the extremes. You've likely heard others chime in somewhere in the middle. Now it's time to get your important people in a separate room. And like this meeting they're having next week, where they supposedly are going to like weed through a few formats, should have happened a while ago. Like that it doesn't take as long as they're seemingly making it take. I think ultimately, if they are at this point still indecisive, which it seems like they are, maybe for next year they should do what Steve O'Donnell suggested a few weeks back. Maybe they try one of these formats in the Truck and Xfinity series, and they wait a year before installing it into the Cup series, so they can get the schedule just right. Maybe get Talladega out of there, for example. Like I think that could be your. Yeah, that could be your cop-out. Now, I would like to see a change for the Cup Series next year, but like you said, if it's not exactly right, if it's not the perfect long-term solution, I don't want to see like a temporary change, because we saw that for years, and I think that hurt the sport's legitimacy as much as anything.
I don't think we're going to solve the major issues here. I mean, the one race finale, I think that's the biggest yes. Great, we got it out. That was a big problem fans have had since the start. I think the big problem is like we've heard nothing on how people are going to get in. It's more than likely going to be win and get in again.
Probably,
which,
yeah, I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, I don't think either of us are. And I like that they got rid of a round too, actually, because that cuts out an elimination. Because
it's one less reset.
Yeah, and I don't like the resets. And the other part is, look at most of the controversies caused by a NASCAR postseason. And it's reset races with people doing shenanigans or stupid things. Look at Martinsville last year. Look at Spin Gate.
Yeah.
Like the less that we have to reset, the more we can reward people for the full season, and the less chance, but there's the less chance that we have the stupidity we've had in recent years. And there's been good moments, but it's just the less chance that we keep chipping away at it, the better. I think we're going to be in the same spot with the same conversation after about 3 years, where I think everyone's going to be all right with it the first year or two, or at least live with it. And that's what I've been seeing when I look on social media, is everyone like, I guess I can live with it. And I'm like, this is your championship. And like the best response we're mostly getting is, I get it's okay, I guess. Like I can live. Sure. I don't like it. Like I feel like we're going to run into the same problem. And then come 2031, when there's new TV rights, we're going to have the same thing of figuring it out again. It feels like the cycle we had with the chase to me.
Yeah, there's probably truth to that. You bring in another major presenting partner, and they're going to want their own say into how the championship gets decided, perhaps. Like that's always possible as well. I will say 2 things. One, I also think all the debating of playoff formats and championship formats, it matters. Obviously, you want legitimate champions that your hardcore fans get behind. But the IndyCar ratings a couple weeks ago showed us that late in the season, the average fan tuning in on TV doesn't necessarily care about the playoffs or the championship fight or whatnot. Like that's a side plot, I guess. That's not why they're actually tuning in. They want to tune in for that race. Their guy is in contention for that win. The second thing, specifically, let's say they go with a 4-race final round, and it is 16 eliminated to 12, and then it's like an Elite 8 that go for 4 races. Let's say it's that. that does. So let me put it this way. The examples people point to in recent years of the playoffs not working is Joey Logano winning last year's championship just because he's really good at Phoenix. Okay, well, 4 race, you draw it out. Now he'd have to defend his lead for 3 more races. Harder to do, more legit. Kevin Harvick missed the championship 4 altogether in 2020. People point to that. Well, if it's an Elite 8, odds of that happening now are much lower because Harvick, if it was an Elite 8 that year, would have been in the Elite 8 and would have had a chance to fight it out to Phoenix. You can make the same case for like Larson last year, missed the championship 4 when he had probably the best statistical season. Same deal. He would have been in that Elite 8. So that's why I'm saying I do think if they go with this basic format, it does eliminate some of the big, bad examples people have pointed to over the past few years. So I think there's a chance it's good, or at least it meets a lot of fans in the middle somewhere. But I also think at this point there's no silver bullet at this point either. So I think they're gonna have to deal with the blowback either way.
No, and it's like, like I could talk full points, all full season points, and like I saw people like on Reddit who are like, oh, they bring it back. I think people would come back, like maybe some, but not like it'd be like a tiny amount that you wouldn't even notice because then it's just the ebb and the flow of fans. I don't think the champions. This is the part that I think NASCAR and the networks need to understand is the championship does not really matter to draw people in. The diehards, you and me, we're gonna and all 600-700 people watching, we're all gonna watch every week. We're going to watch. We're NASCAR fans. We'll seek it out. The average person doesn't care. Like I brought it to my wife who is, I asked her, I'm like, would you want, I brought up, would you want a playoffs with eliminations? Would you want a 10 race chase or a full season format? And she's like, well, all I've known is playoffs. Like go for that. But she doesn't, but then I'm like, well, do you care? Like, are you making sure you watch? She goes, I only watch because you watch. Like, I don't, I'm not going to seek it out because it's the playoffs. And that's kind of the sentiment I've got from other people. Like my brother is the same way. He's like, I don't know, playoffs. Like, if it locks up, it's boring. But like that's the whole point. I think that
we should go get our wives right now and have them both come in here and we should just ask them playoffs or no playoffs and see what
I don't want to set them in front of the I've already done bad enough for poor Riss that I set her in front of the Wolves. That the thing is like
that's fair.
I don't want to like send them out in front of the Wolves to get eaten alive because they're people
they had the wrong opinion.
I did that with my brother a few years ago, and I'm like, he doesn't know who Kevin Harvick is. And they're like, how could you not know who Kevin Harvick is? No. I'm like, you people are in such a freaking bubble. Like nobody knows who Kevin Harvick is outside of racing fans, right? But
I just think I say that because I think Emilio has very much the same take as Riss. Like I don't really care. I just watch because you watch.
That's literally it. And I told her like, I asked her, I'm like, if I wasn't home, like if I were gone for 10 weeks going to different races, like how many would you watch? And she's like, I mean, I don't know. Like if my favorite YouTube thing wasn't on, maybe I'd watch one. Like I don't know. It's like it depends on where the race is. And I'm like, that's the part I think that a lot of people need to get through that run the sport, that are run the networks too. Because I think the people that run the networks don't know a damn thing about racing. Like we need to make the races better. The championship won't matter. I don't think it's a coincidence that when the racing got a bit better at the end of the Gen 6 era, when they started adding like 750 at some tracks, and when they went into the next gen and it got better, I don't think it's really that much of a coincidence that the ratings kind of leveled off for a little bit. Because people watch for the racing. They don't give a damn about the championship. And it's nothing they do is going to be a needle mover. It's just as long as they legitimize it more. And I will say this does better. Like, I think this is the first, I think the stage points, like playoff points was a good kind of baby step. I think this is the first legitimately good step in the right direction NASCAR has done with their championship format since 2011. Like, I'll say that. I don't really like it, but it's better. I kind of said like this. The current format we have is a D because at least you have the playoff points. This is like a C minus to me. Like it's passable.
Okay,
but so like I'd say if they ever went to like a 10 race chase, even with 16, I'd be like, all right, I can live with that. I won't bitch about the championship anymore. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Like I'll hit that middle ground.
Fair enough. Well, the debate will continue to rage on until a decision is made, and probably well after NASCAR makes a decision. I think we can say that safely. We already did our first fun segment. Danny B jumped in here before Danny had to be on a plane headed back home. He won the Random Driver of the Week. much to my dismay. So instead, it's time for Jarrett and I to make our weekly predictions every week. And actually, I think we have some predictions from Danny he sent in.
Yes.
Every host makes 2 NASCAR racing or show related predictions. We keep track every week with our accountability session, and we try to keep our predictions within a fairly contained time period. Jarrett, who do we got first? How did we do this week? Oh, wow. Danny.
And it's completely empty.
Not on the show this weekend, had no predictions come off the board. All right, who's next? Oh, geez. Only 1 Penske car finishes top 10 at Gateway. Damn it, I think 2 did. Just 2. Dang it. When Blaney got spun, I was like, oh. And then Jarrett had none off the board. What the heck? Nobody. Why am I the only one being held accountable this week? What the hell?
With longer term predictions.
Oh boy. Well, I'm still doing okay in the percentages, although Danny still has a solid lead. 37.5% of his predictions this year have been correct. What about the lifetime predictions? Jarrett still with also a 37.5% completion percentage. Good stuff.
We're getting better.
Well,
We're getting there.
We get to add to it this week. Who goes first? Are we going to have Danny's go first? Do you have his predictions ready?
Yes, I do. I'll just read them both off the top. Danny's first one is TV ratings for the Bristol night race will be in the bottom 3 all-time record low in the last 20 years.
Bottom 3. He should have said the bottom. He should have said bottom of the barrel. Commit.
I was about to say he should commit to it because, like, let's see, last year's Bristol. Oh my God. Oh man. Last year's Bristol race was 1.828 million viewers.
It's not
the year before that was 1.562. And before that was 1.766.
Those are a lot lower than I realized.
Yeah, dude.
So there's a chance. I think it's slim. There's a chance this one beats some of those, though. So actually, maybe his pick's not a layup. Maybe that's not a layup.
Maybe it's not a layup, but I mean, those were also noticeably below every other race.
Yeah, no, I'm expecting this one to be like 1.3 or something. But like, I'm just saying there's a chance. Like, it's not like last year's was 2.5, and I'd say, yeah, this has no chance of matching that. Like, this has a chance at least. So we'll see. All right, what was his other prediction?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Dawson Sutton will get a top 10 in the Vols truck.
I like that. Those are good ones. Okay. So my first prediction, Cletus McFarland will get a top 10 in the ARCA race tomorrow night. He's run Bristol before, I think, in a Crown Vic, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he's run anything else.
Didn't he have that race he used to put on there or something? Or like he participated in?
Didn't he also do something on dirt when it was Bristol dirt? I don't remember. But
so,
yeah, ARCA on Bristol's another beast, but I think he'll at least get a top 10.
I think the Cup race will get lower than 1.3 million viewers this week.
Oh my God! They got all these pessimists on this show. All right,
dude,
okay.
This is always like far and away the least viewed race of the year, and like the ratings we got for Gateway were lower than last year's Bristol night race. Like I think it's not going to be too fun.
I'll be a pessimist as well, but something different. I think only 1 Penske car will get past the round of 12 this year.
All right, so you're kind of calling it with the first and second round. All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think the winner leads 200 or more laps on Saturday night. I don't think we have some ultra competitive race. I think
that's a good prediction.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the full. Now the real question, you need to commit as well. You're going to say 400. The last 2 winners, Larson has led over 400 laps in both. 400.
I won't commit that far at 400. I do think it'll be. I'll say I think it'll be a bit racier if Larson doesn't like get in the front row. If Larson like qualifies like 15th, I think then we have a chance. At that point.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, those were our predictions. We'll keep track of them in the coming weeks, future shows. Let's talk Bristol Motor Speedway. It is a busy weekend out there. A few notes heading into the weekend. NASCAR will apply PJ1 on the bottom lane on, I think, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, in between pretty much all on-track activity. Try and keep this as multi-groove as they possibly can. Austin Hill and Corey Heim are in the Cup Series race for RCR and 2311, respectively. Butterbean Brendan Queen will be in the Colleague Racing number 11 in the Xfinity race Friday night. And then I mentioned this earlier, but Cletus McFarland will be racing the ARCA race on FS1. I think they're doing another in-car camera as well on YouTube. So we'll see if how many of his fans tune in for that. Busy weekend.
With the truck side of things, because I looked it up really quick, because I know we're going into the race itself. when I looked up the stages, this was weird. It said 65, 65, 120 for 250 laps, but the race on the schedule is called the UNOH 200. So I don't know if it's 200 or 250 laps this week. Like, unless they've changed it. NASCAR's website's been really janky lately. Yeah, they have this UNOH 200, but they have the stage lengths for 250 laps. So, like, I don't know. I looked around, but like everything was all jumbled up on every website, whether it was 200 or 250.
Color me surprised. Well, the race is called the UNOH 200. It's Thursday night. We don't know what the stages are. We don't know what the lap length is. The race is at 8:00 Eastern time tomorrow on FS1, the NRN Sirius XM radio. It is 250.
Yeah, so but it's still called the UNOH 200 on their website. So it is, I think it's 65, 65, 120 is the stage length.
Okay, 250. Lane Riggs, the defending truck race winner. The Xfinity race Friday is the Food City 300. 300 laps. Got this one right. 85, 85, 130 are the stage lengths. 7:30 p.m. Eastern start on the CW PRN. The weather looks good all weekend, really. It's going to be in the 60s and 70s. Little to no chance of rain all 3 days. That's gorgeous. The Cup race is the Bass Pro Shops night race. I saw that in the chat.
Yeah, the one from Andrew.
Yeah, the last 50 laps are unsponsored. That's funny.
I love that the app and the website are completely off from each other.
Oh, yeah. Bass Pro Shops night race is 500 laps, 125, 125, 250 are the stage lengths. 7:30 p.m. Eastern start Saturday night on USA Network. Folks, USA. Maybe people just can't find it. Maybe they moved where it's at on the dial. I don't know. USA Network, folks. Also on PRN Sirius XM. Kyle Larson is the defending winner of the Cup race. He's won the last 2 Bristol races. I forgot to mention that Cole Custer is the defending Xfinity Bristol winner, not in the field, will not get to defend his Xfinity crown. Jared, it's time to predict who's going to win at Bristol. I need to make up some more points, man. Danny caught up. He's still in the basement, but he's caught quite a bit up. 27 points back. I'm 24 points back. Chat, you're minus 14. Jared, though, you're holding on to this top spot. Well done.
Yeah, I think the chat gained 2, and I think Eric, you gained 1, and then Danny gained like 10 because he had Zillich. So
yeah. All right. Slowly but surely getting closer together there. So we will start with who's going to win the truck race. Danny is not here, but he submitted his picks virtually. He gets first choice. I have a feeling I know who he took. Jarrett, who is Danny's pick to win the truck race?
A monkey. Corey Heim.
Damn. I'm not actually that angry about that because I feel good about my pick. Lane Riggs. Let's go 2 years in a row. Why not? Chat. Pivot, chat. Pivot.
They're picking the monkey.
I know they're like 6 seconds behind, so they're all still saying 34. Now they're starting to change. 38. Oh. I think they're going with a Chandler Smith. Yeah. Wow. That might be the most unanimous I've ever seen the chat. They're more unified than when SVG's racing at Chicago. Goodness gracious. Yeah, it's almost all 38s. Give him Chandler. Who you got, Jared?
I'm going to go with somebody who's statistically been pretty good here, led laps. Didn't work out in the spring, but I think he can compete for the win, honestly. I'm going to go Raja Caruth.
What if he competes for the win dishonestly? Oh, sorry, I just thought it
was as long as he wins. I don't care how he wins. For my pick side of it.
That's a good pick. That's an interesting one. All right. How about the Xfinity race? Who is going to win the Xfinity race at Bristol? I have a feeling Danny took the low-hanging fruit.
Would that be the 88 of Connor Zillich?
Indeed. It would be the guy with a 1.9 average finish over the last 3 months. Yes. Okay. Well, again, I don't hate my choice here. I'll go Justin Allgaier.
I love how just utterly predictable the first 2 have been because you were just going right down the line of my.
Yeah. Chat, who you got, chat?
Well, the 7 isn't eligible anymore. Neither is the 88.
They are all over the map.
Are they going with the 2?
I think they're with the 1. They might be going Carson Quapple.
It's looking like they are.
Fair enough.
These first 2 are going right down. Like we're getting my 4th pick again. I'll go. Eric Almirola is racing, correct?
Oh, I think so.
I thought I saw
actually
that,
don't
but I
know.
want to be 100% sure
You
before
should
I
double
like,
check.
ink him in.
And you can't trust the chat to say it because they're going to lie to you and say, yeah, he's racing. He's not actually racing. No, I don't know.
Was it Food City 300? I probably should have double checked before we went live. It's just been a weird ass day. They're saying he is. I want to double check.
We'll trust you, chat.
Yeah, and if
Jarrett
not,
will
then
trust you.
I'll pick another one. Let's see. He is. Cool. Thank you,
Big.
chat. Thank you for the honesty policy. I appreciate
Wow.
it. I will trust you more in the future. That's probably a mistake on my part.
All right, Jared, who's going to suck in the cup race Saturday night?
Danny has SVG.
Danny has SVG. I'm going Joey Logano. Mentioned it earlier. He hasn't finished like top 20 here in the next gen era.
And the chat.
Honestly, Kyle Busch. Nope.
That's
Cindric?
a good choice at this point. I think it's between the 8 and the 2.
Give them both. I don't know. They're not picking either of them to win.
Well, I'll just say I'm going SVG for my suck pick. Like I have no faith in him.
Damn.
Why don't I just put Cindric down for him?
Sure. Dark horse.
Danny's dark horse pick is Alex Bowman.
Oh my gosh. That's not a bad dark horse pick for this
No,
week,
it's not.
actually. Again, his numbers are solid. He could show up. I'll go Ty Gibbs. He finished third here in the spring. He's led some laps recently. I'll give him a shot.
If he's going to win this year, it's going to be here. Like,
Yeah,
at
that's
this
probably
rate.
fair. Might be his best shot. You're right. Chat, underdog, dark horse. See some 77s, some 43s. Actually, that's not a bad pick with how Legacy's been running lately.
Yeah, they had 3 straight races with top 10s.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick at all, but I think they're going to Hocevar. Seems to be slightly ahead.
And I am also going with Carson Hocevar for my dark horse pick.
Who is going to win the Bass Pro Shops night race? Danny, what did he write?
Kyle Larson.
So he was over here earlier like, oh, I think I did go out on a limb on one or two of those picks. No, he went straight monkey mode. Heim, Zilich, Larson.
We're going to call it monkey mode.
A monkey could make those picks.
A monkey. Hey, is the NWP pick monkey in there?
I saw him earlier, actually. Yes, he is in there. He was picking Chase Elliott to win. It looks like. Oh, interesting. That's not who I'm picking. I know he's already won. He's already locked in, but he's still got playoff points to fight for. Give me Denny Hamlin.
I swear we're just going right down my list the way it is.
Bristol has become predictable. I never thought I'd see the day.
One race. Or maybe we go Kevin Harvick's route and we get rid of the night race.
That
was such a bad take.
It's very, at least it was a take.
I think they're going Briscoe.
Yeah, I think they're going Briscoe as well.
This is insane. I don't think I've ever had it before where I'm choosing all 3 of my 4 picks. Give me Christopher Bell.
That was my third pick, actually. All right. Okay. I think this is going to be a tight battle this week. This will be interesting.
I don't know. The first 2 are probably going to be pretty easy, apparently. Heim and...
Well, I should say the Cup Series, I think, will be a tight one. I don't know about the other 2, but the Cup Series will be close.
Yeah, we're saying Danny's going monkey mode. No, it's Bristol went monkey mode.
Exactly. Well, that was fun. Bristol preview. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there. Like I said, like Danny mentioned earlier, I will be. It's my first Bristol night race in 6 years. I can't wait for that reason alone.
Was 2019 the last one?
Yep.
That was the first time we met in person.
Oh, you're right. That's
damn.
Right. 6 years ago, roughly. Yeah. The only other Bristol race I went to was 2020, the All-Star race that nobody likes.
I was there too.
Yeah.
It's the first Bristol race you've went to that I won't be there.
Yeah. So I'm excited to be back. Should be a good time. Got some fun stuff I'm doing with Carrera. If you want to stop by the Carrera booth outside the track, I think it's in like the Earhart campgrounds, which is right there next to the track. It's in the big shadow of the Coliseum. It's not far. If you look for their red and black tent, I'll be there. Forget the times off the top of my head. Look at my community posts for details, but I'll be there a couple times during the weekend, racing slot cars, filming some content. So if you want to come race slot cars against me, get your trigger finger, get your thumbs, on the little button or whatever it is. Come race against me. Let's do it. So hope to see you guys out there. With that being said, let's get to our final super chat stage break. Y'all have been very generous tonight. Ooh, that's a great intro. Jeffrey King said, thanks for helping to distract from all the bad news today and cheer us up. Appreciate you chiming in, Jeffrey. We do the best we can here. Bruce Morgan says, it's Denny's year until he chokes like always. Brutal from Bruce, top rope. Jeffrey King left another super chat saying, poor Bowman, his crew has failed him. He has no chance. I'll never say never. He does have a different pick crew this week. Yeah. Maybe that's why. Did the chat pick Hocevar as their sleeper pick? Not with that pick crew. I don't know.
Is it Bowman's crew?
It is. It's basically like half the team. Hunter Nixon Fishing says, can't wait for this weekend. One of my favorite races of the year, Bristol night race. And my dogs play Danny's Vols. Dogs by 10. Go dogs. I've never said dogs that many times in one sentence. Speedy Racing 15 says, I think Briscoe could win the championship. Go Zilich. See there, 2 picks, both solid picks, I think. Also said, this is my favorite thing every week. Keep it up. Well, thank you, Speedy Racing 15, for tuning in to the show every Wednesday night. We appreciate the support. Joshua L. Johnson says, question, does all 3 drivers with the most wins in each series going to Phoenix, Heim, Zilich, probably Hamlin, not win the championship this year? I feel like one of them is going to win. I think one of Heim or Zilich will win for sure.
I've been holding to it that I still think that Corey Heim is going to have this just insane season and then finish like 4th in points. He's going to score like 400 more points than everybody else out there and then finish 4th in points because, like, you know, somebody left a screw next to his tire on the last pit stop and it pops it.
Let's hope not. I think there's a, let me put it this way. I don't think all 3 will win the title, but I would be shocked if both Heim and Zilich miss. You know what I mean? Like, I think one of them will win it all.
I think of the 3 series, most wins, Zilich has the best chance.
See, I think Heim does because I think Zilich could get beat by Allgaier at Phoenix. That's the only reason I say that. But it'll be interesting. Good question, Joshua. Chris McIntyre says, poorly designed car plus poor track selection plus NFL week 1 plus playoffs equals lots of NASCAR fans getting triggered. Solution, no one agrees. Chaos, go pack go. A lot going on in there, Chris. But yes, thank you for sharing that. Lawson Murphy, thank you for the 10, says, I was there this past weekend. Both races, the crowds were amazing at my home track. I had seats near the finish line and got a burnout video of Zilich. Crowd did look pretty good even for the Xfinity race. So credit to St. Louis Gateway. They do a great job promoting that event. Glad you had fun, Lawson. Thank you. Joseph Knuckles says, Eric, are you going to be anywhere near the fan zone at Bristol for any meetups? If not, where exactly and what campground will you be? I got to take advantage and get the Out of the Groove diecast signed. Yes, please bring that. That would be awesome. Love seeing that in person. Again, I know I'll be at the Carrera booth. I think it's in the Earhart campground. But stay tuned. It's going to be amidst all the other big tents and displays. It's big, bright red Carrera display. Again, check my community post for exact times on that. But I'll be out there. So hope to see you there. Chris McIntyre again says, need attention quick. Call Chris Wright back. Chris, do we still have the meme? I think we do still have it on here.
Oh, yes, we do. I didn't take it off. That We'll renew next year. We'll see if it renews next year.
Yes. Hunter Nixon Fishing says, speaking of vanilla drivers, who will get behind my movement? Make Ross unhinged again.
I'm with it.
Unhinged. What a big word there. Bailey Reichert says, like 2311, is it all collective? We forget there's 4 JGR cars. Feels like once Ty missed the playoffs, JGR stopped trying. Remember he had Gabe Hart? Oh, yeah. Is Chris Gabehart still working with Ty Gibbs at this point, or is he back to kind of behind the scenes?
Does it make a difference at this point? I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just like, it doesn't make a difference.
Probably not for Ty. Irvin Alvarado says, NASCAR needs an investor to buy out everything. Whoever runs it must do 3 things. Tap more drivers' personality, presentation on TV, very fun, serious action, and crisp, finally legit championship. I mean, those all sound great. It's easier said than done, unfortunately. Speedy Racing 15 dropped a few quick super chats in a row here. Really appreciate that. Said, I think in about 2 to 7 years, specific time frame. Instead of talking about Larson versus Hamlin, we'll talk about Heim versus Zilich. That would be epic. In 2030, Hendrick with Zilich versus Heim with Gibbs. Heim with Gibbs would be the biggest plot twist in all that, I think. Also says prediction, Blaney gets knocked out in the round of 12. Also, Eric, can we see your dog for a bit? Also, I think that Larson wins his third straight Bristol race. I agree with you on the last one, perhaps. I don't agree on Blaney getting knocked out this next round. And the dog retreated as soon as he heard my wife come home. Such is the case. And then from Justin Drake said, let's be honest, Ford is dropping dead weight with Haas being handed off to Chevy to run 40th in a 36-car field. And more than likely, we see AMR get moved up or Penske and RFK return to the O'Reilly series. It's a little disrespectful calling Haas dead weight. I mean, Sam Mayer and Sheldon Creed are playoff drivers in the Xfinity series this year, but we'll see. We'll see if they get a better partnership going forward. We'll see how that turns out. From Joshua L. Jackson said, fun fact, Austin Dillon has earned the same number of points in the 2 races of the playoffs as Josh Berry has laps completed, 38.
Oh my God.
That's brutal. I did gloss over Josh Berry getting wrecked, but yeah, he has had a rough start, about as rough as it could be. From I Stand with 2311, Carson. Hey, NWP, I love my new account name and picture since I really want NASCAR to lose to 2311. So Indy Carson has become I Stand with 2311 Carson. And they also add, hey, NWP, O'Reilly series. Oops, that's right. It's still slow Xfinity series with Zilich winning all the time at no competition. No need to watch until O'Reilly sponsors next year. Yeah, that's right. Carson, one of the few non-Zilich, like Zilich haters we get in our chat every week.
He's like
I respect it.
He's an anti-Zillbilly.
He's one of those anti-Zilly city folks. I don't know. AJT, thank you for the 5, says, howdy y'all, be going to my first NASCAR race at Bristol. I was curious how pit passes work there. Do you buy them at the track or not? Do you have any idea, experience with that, Jarrett?
I'll be honest, most of the time I usually like either working with somebody or got them months in advance.
Yeah.
I think you can get them online. I'm pretty sure you can get them online.
I mean, I know you probably want to get it ahead of time, if assuming they have like how their pit passes work. Chat, if there's someone in the chat who's been to Bristol and purchased, I just said this is my first Bristol race in 6 years. I'm unfortunately not the right person to ask. Every track's a little different, but chat, chime in if you've been to Bristol. I know obviously to get like a hot pass or a VIP pass, you have to have connections. Those usually are not for sale, but maybe they have like a pre-race pass at Bristol. I think they do.
Let's see. Mike is saying just go to the fan stage area.
Okay, maybe you don't need like a special ticket to get at least that close. I'm not sure. Wish we had better information for you, AJT, but I hope you have fun. Bristol, even if you're like up in the stands the whole time, not a bad seat in the house.
After the race, they do let fans walk the track. They did that when I was there in 2019 after the Xfinity Series race.
I literally pulled up their website and I don't immediately see anything besides just race tickets. But if I clicked around a little bit, maybe I'd find something.
I'll look while you're doing super chats.
NWP Pick Monkey chimes in, says Michael Waltrip gets to pick who wins the title like he picked the All-Star caution.
Oh, God. Danny Dye.
Welcome to the championship for. No,
I like it. It went to the 2026 schedule, and the first thing that pops up is be the first in line to return to Chicagoland Speedway.
Your algorithm. Fred Dog 81 says, hey guys, I'm on a road trip and stopped by Indy to check out the IMS Museum again. The new renovations are amazing. I love the new gasoline alley and the Brickyard Winners Gallery. It's a must visit. We do have to go back. It was cool a couple of years ago when we went, but yeah, it looks like a completely new place. The pictures I've seen, would love to check that place back out. Good stuff. Ryan Idiot says full season points with some sort of playoff style format awarding like $5 million overlaid on top is appealing to me.
I'd be okay with that.
Full season points. So like no winning you're in.
So like the championship would be a full season, but then you'd have like a playoff style tournament at the end. So you'd also have like, instead of just the in-season tournament that no one cared about. I'm like, I can get behind that. I think I said when they announced the in-season tournament, I'm like, if the playoffs were just that, I'd be all for it. Like, even if they have their own separate thing.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with that.
perhaps. I worry if you have two competing, not really formats, but you have two kind of diverting storylines at the end of the year. It could be a little confusing, but I don't hate it. Another one from I Stand With 2311 Carson says, I will be at a local short track finale Saturday night in Wisconsin for the first time this year in person. Can't wait. Better than watching on TV on the couch. Well, I mean, that is usually accurate. It goes for any race. Another from Speedy Racing 15 says, oh, this is going to start a battle in the chat here. Hashtag I stand with NASCAR. NASCAR has to win or else. I want to see what Carson has to say to that.
Someone said in the chat they're sold out when it comes to the pit passes.
I know Bristol still sells out something.
Yeah. Do they have to cut the amount of seats for that too?
From Austin Blanchett says, thanks for being here on a sad day for our country, guys. We should be able to have respectful discourse with those we don't agree with. God bless y'all. I think we agree. Well said, Austin. Jonathan Izell says, it's Denny time or I'll be heartbroken in November again. Justin Drake chimes in, says, does Hendrick repeat their gateway team strategy? Send it from 20 cars back into corner entry and ship playoff contenders?
I learned it from watching you, Joey.
I mean, I can't refute it. Justin, it certainly seemed to be a team MO, a strategy of some kind. Last few here from Mason Elkins says Indiana 76, Indiana State 0. Is that a football score going on right now? That's wild.
I'll look it up.
I mean, Indiana's pretty good. I know that. Hunter Nixon Fishing said, really starting to think Ty Gibbs has the potential to be the biggest bust since Casey Atwood.
Oh, it's for Friday.
Was that that was last Friday's score?
No, it's like for this Friday. It's like
so that's a prediction. Okay. All right. Yeah, Ty Gibbs, man, I think going into next year he is on bust watch.
Yeah.
I think he has to be.
I feel for him. But
with
everything, I think what happened but with his dad and stuff is probably a lot to put on it, but at the end of the day, results pay.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like he was great in Xfinity, had a lot of things going his way. There were questions about his maturity even then. And then, going through the personal tragedy right before his Cup rookie season, like on top of all the other questions people were asking, it's like, oh, man, like he did have a lot to deal with as a 21-year-old that most drivers don't have to. So that's why I'm like, he's 3 years in, but willing to give him time. But yeah, if he doesn't start to show serious improvement next year, that's why then I think we can start having the bust conversation next year for sure. Where we at? Last few here. NWP Pick Monkey says, I won't stand with 2311 because I don't like Hamlin or Jordan, but I'll sit in their general vicinity.
I love the creativity out of this dude.
Thank you for that, Pick Monkey. Ross Crash Dane says, hashtag I stand with Ty Dillon. A new character has entered the gauntlet. And finally, from Kayshawn H says, what's the chances a baseball causes a debris caution?
Oh, God.
Any foul balls left over from the Braves Reds game that I think they finally did play, right? After all the weather issues.
Yeah. It's amazing, man. NASCAR went to a football field, now to a baseball diamond to race. Like just the diversity of the schedule is amazing.
Incredible. What if they put dirt on this baseball field and race there? Whoa, crazy. Race on a softball field. Good stuff as always. Thank you, chat, for chiming in. Really do appreciate these super chats. Y'all were very generous tonight. We do appreciate that. And we appreciate you all hanging out with us tonight. Again, hopefully the last couple hours have been fun, a nice escape. Looking ahead to this weekend, it's packed full of short track racing, and we'll be back next Wednesday, September 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Iceberg to talk about it. Bristol quadruple header, ARCA, Trucks, Xfinity, Cup. It's going to be a fun time this weekend. We will see you next week on the Iceberg. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Hope Danny B is safe 35,000 feet up in the sky. And we'll talk with you all again soon. Thanks for watching, folks.
I'm just seeing how awkward it can be.
Started off right now. We're going.
I like the aggression. Dude, let me drop the great car.
You can go tell all those guys up there they can suck it.
What we're about to do is not a good idea.
All good. What is he doing?
You gotta be kidding me.
Half the pack is flying apart.
They're so nice to
See you at the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Jump. Come in the line. You're low. Come back on him.
That was incredible.